We'll find out that one of the league's top cornerbacks has an eye for the camera. And Derek Crawford continues to be an offensive threat for the Calgary Stampeders.
A more glorious day to begin September you could not imagine. 29 degrees Celsius here in Saskatchewan. Winds out of the south at 8 kilometers an hour, a dry field, and a great day for a party. And that's especially what we expect here as the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers are ready to entertain. Welcome to the CFL Report from the party across the street from Taylor Field. I'm Peter Watts. These two teams playing great football right now. Saskatchewan coming off its win last week in Hamilton, and the Blue Bombers coming off a great victory over Calgary last Tuesday.
You could say this is a battle between the irresistible force of the Saskatchewan Roughriders offense.
For Fairholm, touchdown.
And the immovable object that is the Winnipeg Blue Bombers defense.
Good take by Kerrigan to fool part of the Bomber defense, but Battle comes up with the interception.
8 games into the season, the Saskatchewan offense is third in the league in points scored and second in total offense. The key to the Roughriders' success is the combination of quarterback Kent Austin and slot back Ray Elgard. Austin has thrown 7 touchdown passes the past 2 games, 3 to Elgard, who leads the league in receptions. The Winnipeg defense, every bit as impressive as the Saskatchewan offense. They've given up just 181 points. Calgary is next best, and they've allowed 247. The key to the Bombers' success, their underrated cornerbacks, Rod Hill and Les Brown. Between them, they already have 12 interceptions. And both Hill and Brown know they'll have to be at their best to stop Austin, Elgard, and the rest of the Rider offense.
You know, John Wells worked here for a few years in the 70s, and Lee Pedersen was a pretty good football player here in the 70s as well with the Riders. Here they are now to talk about a great matchup today and a great tradition overall.
Thank you, Peter. It's nice to see Peter Watts has met a few of those Saskatchewan Roughrider fans down there.
Well, it's always a great weekend here, Labor Day weekend, John, and they had a great happening out in the parking lot before the game, and boy, I remember it's always a lot of fun on Labor Day around Regina.
They're talking sellout here at Taylor Field this afternoon. The end zones are already filling up. It should be a great afternoon for football. We look at a few Blue Bomber fans down there and add to the fact that this Labor Day Classic is a tradition dating back to 1948. We've got a little added incentive to make this an outstanding football day here with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers debuting a former Saskatchewan quarterback back in his old ball yard.
Well, Tom Burgess makes his return to Taylor Field, and no secret at the beginning of the season, he wanted out, did not want to be a backup to Kent Austin, so they made the deal to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And so far in 8 starts this year, although Burgess has given up 17 interceptions, he's still thrown 9 touchdown passes. And you know the heart must be beating a little faster this afternoon when he returns to the old home field to take on his former teammates.
I think if you look at the comparison between the quarterbacks today, Burgess has 6 wins. Kent Austin is playing the best football of the season here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. It's absolutely perfect, Peter.
Another guy who's playing pretty good football wears number 15 for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. No surprise that the best defense in the league also has the guy with the most interceptions.
There are few cornerbacks in the CFL with a loftier reputation than Winnipeg's Les Brown. In 8 games this year, he has 9 interceptions, and that is tops in the CFL. Heading into this season, his best year was 1985 with Hamilton, when he shared the league lead in interceptions and was a CFL All-Star. On the field, Brown works in front of television cameras. Off the field, he likes to work behind them.
I went to school for radio TV communications and the technical part of television, and that's what I'm going to do when I'm done, so I'm learning as much as I can right now.
You want a job?
Hey, you damn right. Oh.
Now time for our CFL Hits of the Week. And we'll start in Calgary. Danny Barrett is looking for Brock Smith at the middle, but so is Ottawa's Scott Flegel, who's in the mood for some headhunting. From a different angle, we see Flegel had his eye on Smith all the way. No chance for this stamp to catch this football. Let's move on to Regina. Keep your eye on Saskatchewan's number 22, Orville Lee. He's about to go in pursuit, but there's Edmonton's Jeff Braswell. Oh my. Another look. Braswell shows us he can block as well as tackle. But our hit of the week comes from Hamilton. Richard Estelle has his eye on the ball, but Glenn Suter has his eye on Richard Estelle. And you cannot blame Estelle here for not hanging on to the ball after taking our CFL Hit of the Week. Here's our first trivia clue. Always the tough one. Which former Bomber quarterback holds the CFL record for most passes completed in a single game? That record is 41.
Great crowd enjoying a wonderful party here on a glorious day at Taylor Field. And the party is about to move inside to the stadium for the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The 24th renewal of the Labor Day Weekend Classic. Winnipeg leads it by 1. More to come on the CFL Report.
Deep in the woods of Canada, you'll find many species of wildlife. The moose, the wolf, the fox, the loon, the beaver, and the skunk. You'll also find genuine Canadian beer. Molson Canadian, what beer's all about.
Are you ready for non-stop action? TSN holds the line in the hottest season in football. From ground to air, we've got you covered coast to coast. The CFL on TSN. Tom Burgess goes west. The Bomber quarterback gets his first chance to battle his former Grey Cup teammates, the Saskatchewan Roughriders. TSN's got the action live from Taylor Field, Sunday, 3:30 Eastern, on the Molson CFL Game of the Week.
Our second clue. He played 11 seasons in the CFL and is the third all-time passing leader behind Ron Lancaster and Tom Clements.
We've moved inside a few minutes before game time here at Taylor Field. Happy to welcome Bob Cameron, punter extraordinaire for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 82 punts already. You've been a busy kicker.
Oh, I enjoy it. I feel like I'm in the game when I'm punting that often, and we've done well this year, so I'll punt as many times as you want me to.
Bob, you usually lead the league in punting. Mike Riley treats his punters a little bit differently than some other coaches, I think.
Well, he likes to punt a lot more than other coaches. When we get inside the other team's end of the field, rather than going for long field goals, he likes to hem them in. So I get a lot more opportunity to punt than other teams, and it gives our defense an advantage if I can pin them inside the 10-yard line.
Has the strategic value of punting changed in the 10 years you've been in Winnipeg?
I would say so. I never saw an 11-man rush until about 83, I guess, when BC got the dome. And that puts a lot of more pressure on the punter to get the ball away. And I think the last few years the ball has changed a bit, so that cuts down on your distance. And when they move the ball, when you kick the ball into the end zone, they used to bring it out to the 25, and now it comes out to the 35. So you definitely do not want to kick the ball in the end zone anymore.
You get paid by the punt in Winnipeg, you could be a pretty well-paid player.
Maybe I'll negotiate that in my next contract.
All the best today. Hope you're busy.
Thanks, Peter.
All right. Bob Cameron of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Let's talk about who's behind the mask today. A great player who's playing in his 10th season with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Number 70, the 1981 Rookie of the Year, Vince Goldsmith, behind the mask today.
I'll be preparing today teriyaki chicken, and this recipe will be taken from my upcoming book, Chicken, A Man's Best Friend.
No, that is not the Galloping Gourmet. It's Saskatchewan defensive end Vince Goldsmith. Yes, the same Vince Goldsmith that has made a living terrorizing CFL quarterbacks the past 10 seasons.
I've been probably making chicken since I can remember. I've probably eaten so much chicken, the chicken's probably got a contract out on me. They probably hate to see me coming. But my motto is, you can't eat enough chicken.
Goldsmith has been working for the past 2 seasons for CKCK Television. He's done some sports reporting as well as hosted a cooking show.
TV has a lot to offer. There's a lot of different avenues you can branch off into. I'm still learning. I think I've come a long way in a year and a half, but I recognize it's still a long way to go.
Goldsmith broke into the league in 1981 and recorded 17 sacks on way to winning the Shenley Award for the league's outstanding rookie. 10 years later, Goldsmith is the third all-time sack leader, trailing James Parker and Grover Covington. But it's more than his football skills that have made Goldsmith a fan favorite. At last week's Riders Luncheon, he answered the Riders fan mail.
And this one is, how do you feel about sacking Tom Burgess on Sunday? I feel good about sacking Tom Burgess on Sunday. I feel good about sacking anybody. I'm enjoying football now because 10 years I've done pretty much everything I wanted to do, especially winning the Grey Cup last year. So now I'm enjoying the players, enjoying, you know, just the football scene, going to different places, being with the guys, you know, talking with them, you know, trying to mellow people out in the locker room, trying to get them to loosen up.
Goldsmith is also enjoying his personal life. He recently got married to a girl he met in Seattle 4 years ago. Goldsmith hopes to play a couple more seasons in Saskatchewan before retiring. But in the meantime, he will continue to enjoy his life both on and off the field.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
This afternoon on Make Leaf Laugh, we've got Milson Jones from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And Milson, you've been around this league for 9 years. I mean, you've met a lot of crazy guys. Who was the wildest guy you ever played with?
Well, there's a lot to choose from. I'd have to say Roger all day.
No way.
Roger, you can't keep control of him in the locker room. I mean, he's just causing all kinds of trouble, hassling people. It's a sad situation, but I'd have to say Roger.
Well, I don't believe that. Now, listen. You know the rules. You're on here to try and make me laugh, and if Milson tells me his best joke or funniest football-related story, he will get the TSN hat that he said he wants very much. If he doesn't make me laugh, he's going to be subject to instant ridicule. So now you know the rules. You've got a good story for me, do you?
Yeah, my 15 seconds of fame. Here we go.
All right, let me have it.
All right. A few of us are sitting in a restaurant, and one Albert Brown is...
Teammate Albert?
Teammate Albert Brown, number 4 on your program. He's sitting and we're having a meal. So everybody orders their meal. You know, some various all sorts of chicken fingers and wings and ribs and whatnot.
The usual stuff?
The usual stuff. So the waitress comes by, and she brings the water and your beverages, and she sets it on the finger bowls, a nice little warm water with lemon in it. And so we're sitting there talking away. The waitress walks past again. Albert looks up and goes, "Excuse me, miss, can you bring me back some more of that warm lemonade?"
And he liked it.
Oh, we all looked at him like he was crazy. He looked at us and said, "Hey, man, that stuff was good."
So remember now, when you have Albert Brown over for dinner, just give him some of that warm lemonade. I like it. You get the hat.
Oh, hey, beautiful. Thanks, Lee.
Thanks for coming
Can I go now?
You can go.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That is good. Milson Jones will be running into some pretty good linebackers this week. And on Meet the Players, that's what we wanted to talk about among the CFL's best, the best linebackers. We talked to some Riders about their choice.
This week on the CFL's Best, we went to Regina to find out who the Saskatchewan Roughriders thought was the league's best linebacker.
Before I came to Saskatchewan, I'd say Eddie Lowe, but I play with him now. So I guess I'd have to say Tank Landry. He does all aspects of the game real well, and he's just a tough one to go against.
The one that gives me the most trouble is probably Frank Robinson, Hamilton. He's good on the pass, good on the run, and he's Will linebackers are the ones that I go up against the most, and he's probably the best all-around backer I've played.
Some guys play the run better than others. Some guys play the pass better than others. But I'm going to give my pub to my buddy over there in Edmonton, Larry Rook. Larry, you owe me that drink.
Saskatchewan Roughriders safety Glenn Suter has played 7 years in the CFL, all with the Green Riders. His best year was probably last season. The Riders won the Grey Cup, and he was named a CFL West Division All-Star. Suter played against some pretty good competition in his college days at Simon Fraser University. But still, he says, playing in the pros is a lot tougher.
once you get up here, everything happens a little bit quicker. Mentally, you can't make mental mistakes. There's no room for mental errors in the game in professional. So I think that's the biggest jump, is the mental aspect of the game. You have to be ready to play every practice and every game. And everything happens just that much faster.
We're about 20 minutes to go till kickoff here at Taylor Field. The Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. A record crowd expected to be on hand for this game. And glorious weather, as you can tell. It's really fun to be here on Labor Day weekend. And we've got more to come on the CFL Report right after this.
Well, you can tell you need a change. Back to something simpler, where they don't care about your name. Going home again, going home. Well, there's nothing halfway about it, except love.
Play Walt Disney World Baseball Magic at A&P in Dominion. Win a trip for two to Orlando, Florida, home of Walt Disney World Resort. All trips provided by Canadian Holidays, a world of vacations. Win up to $25,000 in Thomas Cook MasterCard traveler's checks. Win a Honda Civic hatchback, Honda, the official car of the Toronto Blue Jays. Or this Samsung camcorder, a shop-vac vacuum, or a Janome sewing machine. Snyder's processed cheese slices, famous for quality since 1890, and Quaker Chewy Bars, nutritious tasting granola snacks.
Before the season starts, get into the 3rd annual hockey show at the Toronto International Centre, August 31st to September 3rd. Demonstrations, games, memorabilia. Visit the autograph booth and meet NHL stars. And National Sports Center's going to be there too, with everything you need from novice to pro. The 3rd annual hockey show, August 31st to September 3rd at the Toronto International Centre.
Our final clue. He won the Shenley Award as the league's most outstanding player in 1980 and 1981. He will be inducted into the Winnipeg Football Hall of Fame next week. The answer is Dieter Brock.
He's changed the hairstyle a bit, but he was one of the great quarterbacks ever to play in the game in Winnipeg and in Hamilton. And we remember him today as a great member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Dieter Brock played 11 seasons in the CFL. His best game as a member of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, where he won the Shenley Award as the league's most outstanding player in 1980 and 1981.
I think it was really a kind of a turning point in my career in the CFL, because up until that time I was still getting a lot of heat about my quarterbacking and the way I played, and I think I really became a household name, so to speak, up in the CFL at that time after the first Shenley Award, and from then on it seemed like they were all talking well of me all the time, but before then it was kind of up and down.
Brock cherishes his days in the CFL and thinks the Canadian game is every bit as good as the American.
Both are very competitive leagues. I mean, you can take an NFL player, a top NFL player, put him up in the CFL, and who knows? He might be a great player up there, and he might not.
After leaving the CFL, Brock played for the Los Angeles Rams. It was a big transition for Dieter. In the CFL, he sometimes threw 50 passes a game, while the Rams had a running attack led by Eric Dickerson.
And what was really tough is that I knew I could throw the ball and be successful throwing the football, but we just stayed with the old style of play, what he had been doing in the previous years.
Brock now makes his home in Birmingham, Alabama.
I like the lifestyle I've got because I'm not working or anything. I don't have to work this time, but it's not to say that I might not have to at some point. But I've gotten involved in doing a little radio work, and just I'm not doing that anymore, but there's a possibility of doing some things down the road here and there. But as far as selling on what I really want to do, I'm still searching.
Still searching?
Yeah, I'm still searching.
I can't get over the hairdo. He was one of the best that ever played in this league, though, and he was fun to watch over the years. Upstairs now, here's John and Lee.
Really does look like the Manitoba Golden Boy now, Dieter Brock.
I don't remember him having that much hair. I think he went to the House of Masters or something. I don't know.
Let's talk about our players of the week as we look back to Week 7. I wanted to give honorable mention to Glenn Suter, the Saskatchewan safety. I thought he had a great week.
Well, he did. He's a good one.
But my player this week is Derek Crawford of the Calgary Stampeders. Now, I know you're going to be on my case about this one, but this guy is a rookie in Canadian football. He's got 8 touchdowns, and he had 3 last week. In a losing cause against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, he has been a sensational acquisition by the Calgary Stampeders, Derek Crawford.
See, I love this. You know, you don't like doing your research, so you just pick the easy one every week, the offensive star. But my guy was a guy who was a defensive player, and, you know, if there was one team in the CFL last week that needed a win, it was the Ottawa Roughriders. You have to agree with that. And Greg Stuman came up with a huge effort early in that ball game. He picked off a Doug Flutie pass, took it into the end zone for his first ever touchdown as a pro, and that really got the Riders off to a good start, and they got the win that they so desperately needed. He is my player of the week. Honorable mention goes to Ray Elgard for 11 catches on 199 yards.
Yeah, it's hard to overlook Ray Elgard, too. All right, Peter.
I want to mention Gizmo Williams. He had 150 yards in kick returns last week, a 110-yard punt return for a touchdown against Toronto, and he's leading the league in all-purpose offense with 1,250 yards. And speaking of leading the league, we might have a record crowd at Taylor Field today. It'll beat the numbers put up in these games over the years. More to come on the CFL Report.
Where you can feel it in your heart. Something about a special friend dropping you time to spend. Gonna take it easy. Well, there's nothing halfway about it. Excess of love.
Stomach troubles. They can blow in like an ocean storm, bringing heartburn, or upset stomach, or even diarrhea. That's why you should always have Pepto-Bismol on board. Pepto's special triple-action coating formula goes to work quickly to cool heartburn, calm upset stomach, and relieve diarrhea with a layer of effective soothing pink medication. Pepto-Bismol's triple-action coating formula turns tummy troubles into smooth sailing.
Monday, join Jim Houston and Buck Martinez in an afternoon game from Tiger Stadium as the Jays take on the Tigers. Then it's live CFL action from Ivor Wynne Stadium as the Ottawa Roughriders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The world's top tennis players rally for tennis's final Grand Slam. It's continuous coverage of the U.S. Open Championships. Live Blue Jays baseball, the Roughriders and the Tiger Cats in U.S. Open tennis. Monday on TSN.
12 minutes to kickoff here at Taylor Field. Record-breaking offense this year. Over 200 points a week, every week so far in the CFL. And they're off to a great start again as a result of what happened last night in Toronto. Around the league begins at the Skydome on Saturday night in Toronto. Keith Costello in the second quarter returns this fumble for a touchdown. The Argos scored 21 points in less than 2 minutes to break the game open. In the fourth quarter, Doug Flutie to Ray Alexander for the touchdown that broke the CFL record for most points in a game. 68-43 Toronto, the final. Great football at Winnipeg Stadium last Tuesday night. The Bombers and the Stampeders. Rick House with a one-handed grab here. A seesaw battle to the very end. In the dying seconds with Calgary leading by 7, Danny McManus hits Rob Creepo with a 51-yard strike to keep a Bomber drive alive. And then with 23 seconds to play in the regulation time, McManus goes to James Murphy, his second touchdown of the game and of the season. And it was on to overtime at that point. In the second overtime period, Trevor Kennard's 16-yard field goal put the Bombers in front by 3 points. The Stampeders had a chance to come back and tie the game one last March. In the final seconds, Mark McLaughlin tries from 31 yards out and missed. And the Bombers win by 2.
was a game we could have put to rest, and we could have come home with our 2 points, and then at worst we figured we'd come home with 1 point, and then coming home with nothing is rather frustrating, but hopefully it was a learning experience for us, and maybe we can learn something from it.
A crazy night in Ottawa last Tuesday. Lots of rain and lightning, but the Ottawa Roughriders still managed to come away with their second win of the season, 41-34 over the BC Lions. A look at the standings in the East. The Blue Bombers with a 6-2 record, the best in the league, and 12 points. Hamilton and Toronto right there, and then in the West, it's Calgary leading by a point, and Calgary and Edmonton play Monday and next Friday in a home-and-home series. Other news from last week, Tony Champion back in Hamilton after being released by Green Bay of the NFL. Champion joined the Ticats on Monday, will play his first game tomorrow against Ottawa. That one live on TSN at 7:30 Eastern. Champion had 15 touchdowns last season for the Ticats, so they're happy to have him back in the lineup. And the Ottawa Roughriders have released running back Tony Cherry, a free agent signed in the offseason, but with the return of a healthy Reggie Barnes to the Ottawa lineup, Cherry has become expendable. Some news regarding former CFL players. Hank Alisic and quarterback Rick Johnson cut loose by the Los Angeles Rams last week.
This week, Fans Corner goes to Calgary to ask Stampeders fans if they're surprised by their team's good early season form.
Well, no, not really. They've had the makings of a good squad last year and brought in some good players, and I think the new coach has helped up quite a bit, so they're looking good.
I'm not really surprised by it because I think they've got a good all-around team, but the quarterbacks really surprised me this year.
Not at all. I think they had a making of a good team last year, you know. They're just starting to gel. That's about the size of it.
Well, time now to open the viewer mail. We have a letter from Belleville, Ontario this week that reads, Dear Leaf, and it regards expansion in the Canadian Football League and possible expansion of the NFL. There has been a lot of talk about the NFL coming to Canada, but what do you think, Leaf, about the CFL going to the United States? Sincerely, Sam Murdoch.
Sam, you know what I think? I think we should worry about getting a team back in Montreal first and then really worry about making our league a national league from coast to coast. If and when we do that, then we can concern ourselves with moving to the States. But do you honestly think that someone, let's say in Charlotte, North Carolina, would go to see Saskatchewan come to town? I mean, Sam, I don't believe it. Try another one.
Well, the only thing about that is Charlotte, North Carolina might be a nice place to visit.
It's a great place for you and I to go down and play golf when we do a football game, but forget about the CFL going down there.
Well, it would be nice to see Canadian football back in Montreal and perhaps even farther eastward. Any questions to Leif Pedersen? Drop us a line. Here are CFL questions, 1155 Leslie Street, Don Mills, Ontario. Peter?
All right, John, thank you. Well, we're about 8 minutes away from the kickoff of this traditional Labor Day weekend classic, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders coming up from Taylor Field in Regina. A reminder that on Monday we'll have the Ottawa Roughriders and the Hamilton Ticats live for you from Iberwin Stadium in Hamilton. That'll be at 7:30 Eastern Time. For now, though, you've got a couple of minutes to get your favorite beverage, pull up a chair, get set for the Bombers and the Roughriders. Live from Taylor Field, local blackouts are in effect, so please check your local listing.
Talk.
Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Marsden. Bill Waters. Don Cherry. Jack Donahue.
Straight talk.
Knives in the back right there. Guys like Chris Chelios, Al McInnes, page 2.
And sometimes action speaks louder. Don't get fined for it. Louder.
You can't even go on the property.
Loudest.
You want to watch your favorite hockey players?
TSN Magazine shows. Real TV.
Check your local newspaper supplement or TV Guide magazine for the latest TSN program listings. Now, here's what's coming up next on TSN.
From all of us at TSN, have a safe holiday weekend.
The hands of a champion. Number 81, Saskatchewan slotback Ray Elgard has been brilliant in 1990. His great hands and tenacious running style has made him a force in the Roughrider attack. Last week against the Ticats, a career-high 11 pass receptions. The Winnipeg Blue Bomber defense, the best in the CFL. Bombers play with intensity, and leading the way as always is linebacker Tyrone Jones. But Mike Riley's defense suffered a setback last week. James West broke his arm. He's out for the next month. Today, it's Elgard and the Saskatchewan Receivers against the toughest defense in the CFL. It's the first matchup of the season between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Labor Day Classic coming up on TSN. CFL Game of the Week on TSN. A presentation of Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. And by Priority Courier, the official courier of the CFL. It's Labor Day weekend, and that means the Winnipeg Blue Bombers visit Regina and Taylor Field to meet the Saskatchewan Roughriders. An absolutely ideal day here to begin September. 29 degrees Celsius, the light breeze. The stands are absolutely jammed. It could be a record crowd to see a football game at Taylor Field today. Hi, everybody. Peter Watts alongside John Wells and Lee Pedersen. We're delighted you could join us to watch a football game featuring two teams who are playing great of late. The Bombers coming off that exciting two-point win over Calgary last Tuesday night at Winnipeg Stadium. They're on top in the East with a 6-2 record. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders coming off a good victory against Hamilton a week ago Saturday. They too are playing well at 4-4. They have all the earmarks for a terrific football game here today. Let's bring in now John Wells and Lee Pedersen to talk a little bit about a couple of matchups, guys.
Labor Day in Saskatchewan, there's nothing quite like it. This is the only place that we'd really like to be here this afternoon.
John, I can remember playing in this game, and it always is filled with a great deal of emotion for both the fans and the players. And I'd like to remind our viewers joining us this afternoon on Sport Channel America that these two cities, when they get together, the fans aren't a lot friendly towards each other. The players don't like each other that much either, so it always makes for a great Labor Day Sunday afternoon.
And these two teams are coming in after impressive victories the past couple of weeks. The Winnipeg Blue Bomber offense has got fire, but so has the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense. It has been devastating lately.
Well, I think quarterback Ken Austin is having just a super year. You know, he's left off right from where he did last season, leading them to the Grey Cup in 1989. But, you know, on 8 starts this year, 5 times he's already thrown for over 300 yards in a game. And last week against the Ticats threw for 417 yards. He's really on a roll. He likes his inside receivers and his backs. One tiny criticism, he might throw to wide receiver Mark Guy just a little more to keep things balanced.
Now, the Blue Bombers have a couple of injury problems, and that means that James Murphy might be called upon to carry this football club this afternoon. He is an outstanding receiver, got back last week with a couple of touchdowns.
Well, John, I've had a great deal of fun watching James Murphy throughout his career. He's one of the best that's ever played in Canada, and, you know, 6 times in his 7-year career, he's gone over 1,000 yards. And really, that is the benchmark for a wide receiver. This afternoon, Eric Streeter and Perry Tuttle, 2 other key receivers, will not play. So that means that James Murphy has to pick up the slack and have himself a pretty good afternoon, along with quarterback Tom Burgess.
And add to the drama, Tom Burgess, his first game coming back to Taylor Field. He played here last year. He is back here for the first time against his old mates. This one has it all, Pete.
It really does, John and Leif. It's a Labor Day weekend tradition. 24th renewal since 1950. The Bombers have won 12. The Riders have won 11. And we're ready for the kickoff in just a moment from Taylor Field in Regina.
In Canada, every summer, an unusual cultural event takes place. It is called the Long Weekend. It features strange rituals and the clean, cold taste of a genuine Canadian beer. Molson Canadian. What beer is all about.
At McCain, we wanted to tell you right on the pack about our new, improved, easier, faster, bigger, thicker, juicier, flame-broiled, 100% pure beef burger with crispier, more golden fries, but it just wouldn't fit on the outside. But on the inside, the McCain new, improved, easier, faster, bigger, thicker, juicier, flame-broiled, 100% pure beef burger with crispier, more golden fries fit just fine and taste better than ever. McCain Superfast Microwave Burger and Fries, now better than ever.
Priority Courier, I have a pickup.
Call Priority Courier for overnight delivery, and you're dealing with Canada's largest courier network. You've got the whole country covered. Evenings and weekends, too. Priority Courier gets it there overnight. Guaranteed. Because your priorities are ours.
I lost my license drinking and driving. I also lost my freedom.
It's ever so tough being ranked #1 and not being ranked. What assists me is the maximum protection and aromatically airy scents of Right Guard Sport from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Labor Day in Regina, always something special as the Bombers and the Roughriders get together. Only a playoff game matches the excitement of this annual CFL Classic. We're set to get underway. Trevor Kennard will kick off. The Bombers will have the favoring wind in the opening quarter. And on the return, this is Albert Brown for Saskatchewan. Brown sweeps to the right side, has some room, an excellent return as he's out near midfield at the 55. Forced out by Rod Hill. A 42-yard return sets the Saskatchewan offense up perfectly. With Stevenson and Moore the end, Foley and Aldag the guard, Mike Anderson at center. The outside receivers, Mark Guy, Don Narcisse. Inside, two great ones, Jeff Fairholm and Ray Elgard. The quarterback is Kent Austin. He's been hot. And his runners will be Lucius Floyd and Milton Jones. First and 10, Saskatchewan. Don Narcisse. Halfway to a first down. Defensively for the Bombers, some changes, but Williams, Mikolas, and Gray remain up front. Another Williams, Albert Williams, with Jones, Battle, and Riggins of the linebackers. And the secondary with two great corners in Hill and Brown, backed up by Sampson, Petway, and the safety, Dave Bovell. This is 2nd and 2, Saskatchewan. First down, Jeff Fairholm.
Well, this is what Kent Austin has done so well in 1990. He throws the 10 to 12-yard pass perfectly almost every time. And on 2nd and 4, Fairholm over the middle. Easy pass to complete, easy pass to see for the quarterback. And after a great kickoff return by Albert Brown, Kent Austin picks up the first down.
From the 35. Austin on target once more, this time to Mark Guy. He's inside the 30. Stopped by Greg Battle.
Mark Guy, really the only receiver in the offense that hasn't had a great year. There you see his numbers so far in 18 games. Not really that bad, but when you consider Elgard with 51 catches and Narcisse with 37, he does lag behind a little bit. And I think really to have the balance that they want, Mark Guy needs to catch about 6 or 7 balls today.
A gain of 6, this is 2nd and 4. Goes down. The coverage too tight on Elgard by Dave Bovell.
Dave Bovell, a rookie from Colgate University, getting the start in the middle safety spot for the Blue Bombers this year.
Pass interference. Winnipeg, number 79. First down.
Referee this afternoon is Bud Steen.
And Bud meant number 29, which is Dave Bovell, in the coverage on Ray Elgard. You know, Winnipeg's defense likes to blitz a lot. They usually bring at least one linebacker every time, but Dave Bovell will have to come up and play a lot of man-to-man coverage. They don't mind doing it with him. He's a former corner at University. He can handle a man-on-man.
First and 10, Saskatchewan. The receiver goes down. The interception. Almost. Couldn't hang on. Bovell had it right in his mitt and let it get away.
Kent Austin usually doesn't beat himself as a quarterback. Although he's given up 12 interceptions this year, that was a ball that maybe should not have been thrown. Receiver fell down, and Dave Lavelle should have made the interception there. Dropped that one, but Ken Austin, this is his forte all season long. When he's faced with 2nd and 10, he has a tremendously high percentage of converting that.
Roughriders from the 25 of Winnipeg. Long to the end zone, off the post. Fairholm was the intended receiver, so Dave Ridgway will trot out.
Now, Wellesley, not to suggest that he's not a pinpoint passer, but I think he could stand there all afternoon and maybe not hit the crossbar again from there. But nevertheless, a good drive to start the ball game for the Saskatchewan offense, and they set up for Mr. Automatic. Dave Ridgway, 37 of 45 in field goal attempts this year so far. 82% rate. I mean, only one guy better than him is Paul Osbaldiston in Hamilton at 87.
Glenn Sitter will hold. A flag is down as Ridgway pokes it through. The 3-point should stand. Oh, hang on. Procedure against the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
They'll make him do it again for sure. What do they call Ridgway here? The robo-kicker?
Robo-kicker. 82.2%, as you mentioned. I mean, this guy has had a terrific season. He leads all scorers in the Canadian Football League with 137 points.
Saskatchewan, no end. 3rd down repeated.
So this will just be a little practice for Dave Ridgway. Made the first one, and from a little farther back. Numbers on Ridgway are impressive. 1 of 24 missed. From outside the 40. Inside the 40, I should say. Three-0 Saskatchewan. No doubt about it. The Roughriders score on their first drive.
You know, head coach John Gregory was asked yesterday if he was concerned that Dave Ridgway had kicked 37 field goals in 8 games, and was he concerned about the offense not taking it in for touchdowns. And, you know, he simply said, look, we'll take points any way we can get them, and Dave Ridgway is a huge part of our offense, and, you know, if he's kicking 6 field goals a game, that's, you know, a lot of, we'll take those 18 points. And, boy, I kind of agree with him, and so do the fans here at Taylor Field. They've been treated to some pretty entertaining offensive football this year.
The Roughriders have scored only 22 touchdowns this season. That is the 2nd lowest in the league, but they're right up there among the scoring leaders.
But, you know, John, that statistic can be really misleading, because so often Kent Austin will get himself in scoring position where he knows that Ridgway can kick a field goal, so he will not take a chance by throwing the ball into a crowd when he knows that Ridgway can come in and get him at least 3. So sometimes those statistics can become very misleading.
This is Lee Hall on the kick return for Winnipeg. Hall slowed down at the 30 and drops at the 35. Here's the way the Bombers will line up offensively with David Black and Steve Huskers the tackles, Nick Benjamin, Bob Molly the guards, and at center it's Lyle Bauer, Murphy, and Hall are the outside receivers. Inside, a newcomer in Hughes with House, Burgess the quarterback with the runners, Robert Mims and Warren Hudson. Blue Bomber first down at the Winnipeg 35. Burgess to the far side. Hall has the catch.
The defense that Tommy Burgess will come back and see his old teammates. And Vince Goldsmith, 3rd all-time leading sacker in CFL history at the defensive end. Good linebacking crew. Tunay Alapate in the middle replacing Dave Albright. In the secondary, rookie on the corner, Stacey Harrison, the only rookie to start in the Saskatchewan lineup this season.
A 16-yard gain for Burgess on his first drive. And a first down out across the 50 at the 51 now for Winnipeg.
Well, I don't think Tom Burgess is excited about coming back and playing here. For those of you who have not seen Tom Burgess, he played for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. In fact, started 9 games for them at the beginning of the season last year, and then Ken Austin took over, took them to the Grey Cup victory. At training camp this year, Burgess said, I don't want any part of this. I mean, I am not a backup, and I don't want to do it. So they traded him off to Winnipeg. A good move for him. He originally from Colgate University, and 8 games. What's he done? Well, 9 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. He'd like to have some of those back, but he's got them in first place in East.
Yeah, the Bombers have 6 wins in 8 starts, so they're not doing all that badly. A flag down. Burgess slips and then looks long for Hull once more.
And Suter was in the area, covering from his safety spot.
Coming on the play for Roughriders, Casey Harrison. There's a flag on the field.
Against the Bombers' procedure.
Illegal procedure, Winnipeg 57. Decline, second down.
The left tackle, Steve Rhoda Huskers, who moved a little prematurely that time. 3-0 Saskatchewan. Early in the opening quarter on Labor Day at Taylor Field.
Well, I tell you what, Steve, you know, Rhoda Huskers, when you're 6'6" and 270, you move just a little bit. Everybody sees it.
On 2nd and 10, Burgess gets a rush. Looks for House, too far. Suter has an interception. And he's dropped down at the 41. Suter had a great game last week. Picked off an interception earlier this season, and that's his second.
John, that's probably one reason why Tommy Burgess has now 18 interceptions.
Offside, Saskatchewan, 99. Second down repeated.
Aha. Well, regardless that Winnipeg will get the football back, a ball that maybe Tommy Burgess should not have thrown. Suggested his interception total is unusually high for only 8 games, but that was a ball that should have been thrown, and he gets the break. Chuck Klingbeil, the left defensive tackle, number 99 from Northern Michigan, was offside, and the Bombers get another chance.
This will be 2nd and 5, Winnipeg. 10:28 to play in the opening quarter. Bombers now just across midfield. Far side, House. If he had the first down, it'll depend where they spot the ball. It should be a first down. And the Bombers take advantage of a Saskatchewan penalty to keep the drive alive. They have a first down.
Well, Rick House is having a great season. You know, he's been around for 12 years from Simon Fraser University. 8th season he has played with the Bombers, moved over to the Edmonton Eskimos for a few years, and then traded back to Winnipeg. But 27th catch of the year, 4 touchdown passes for Rick House, and boy, he has been a big part of their offense so far this season.
Touchdown per catch ratio is pretty good. Robert Mims, he's out to the 45. Gain of about 3.
This is an interesting matchup this afternoon. Robert Mims from Kansas, a rookie who took Tim Jesse's job away at the beginning of the year, is leading the Canadian Football League in rushing with 632 yards after 8 games, but the Saskatchewan defense is first against the rush. So Winnipeg, who likes to run the football, is really up against the tough defense this afternoon.
2nd and 7. Burgess carries himself. He slides short of the first down.
Started that slide a little early.
I think he went down about 2 yards early, but he was safe. Unhurt, unharmed.
Well, he only gets about 4 yards every time he runs with the football, so you know it's only out of necessity when Burgess takes off with it. He would much prefer to throw it downfield, but that time started to slide a little early and came up short.
This is 3rd and 2, and that means Trevor Kennard is in. A 47-yard field goal try for Kennard with Bob Cameron holding. With a 19 of 26, as long as from 51 away. Kennard for the tie, and he's got it. 3-3, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Labor Day at Taylor Field. It's a sellout here, and it should be a great afternoon in Canadian football.
Hey guys, just check this out at 2 o'clock. Oh yeah. There they go. Let's try to find out. Oh, well, they're married. They have the ring on their finger. Maybe not. Oh, that's not it. All right. Send that guy right into the water. What kind of girl? A frisbee player. Nice throw. Like they even see us here. I know, they saw us. They're just pretending not to. I'm a nice guy. Why don't I have a girlfriend that looks like that?
OV. Real life beer.
Well, Ray Elgaard's having a tremendous year in 1990. 51 catches coming into this ball game, and you know, as we do every week on TSN, we tell you about a key matchup we're going to see. Today it's Ray Elgaard against Daryl Sampson.
Daryl's one of the most solid defensive backs, I think, in the league.
plays good man coverage, and he's a physical player. And what he does best is he fits into their defensive scheme really well. They're going to try and blitz the quarterback and play man coverage, and he's a good man coverage guy.
Is Mr. Sampson in a little tough against Elgard today?
Well, I think he is. Anybody that plays against Ray Elgard is in tough because Elgard is such an imposing figure at 6'3", 225 pounds as an inside receiver. You know, he can push off against the defensive back so easily. And, of course, that's what he's kind of been famous for throughout his career. But he is a tough one for anybody. And Daryl Sampson, he's a good one. Third year starting from York University. He's 6'2", 175, so not overly big, but he's got the good height. So he will have his work cut out for him, and we'll hear from him in a few minutes and see. And he'll tell us how he's going to handle Ray Elgard this afternoon.
A couple of interceptions for Sampson. We await the Blue Bomber kickoff. 3-3 at Taylor Field, Regina, with 8:52 to play in the opening quarter on Labor Day. This is Albert Brown. Second kick return of the afternoon for Brown. Had a great one early. Flags down. And Brown breaks free. Kennard tries to pull him down. This one may come back, but Brown is headed for the end zone. Cameron can't make the tackle. Flag down, right back at the 21. 95-yard return. He has been terrific today. But I would think, Lee, they'll knock it all the way back.
Well, it's a pretty good indication when the offense starts running back towards their own end, and Bud Steen is going to tell you who the guilty party was, but nevertheless, a great kickoff return by Albert Brown, and boy, on a hot day, that's going to take a lot out of you. Emotionally, too, because you give up the touchdown.
Illegal block. Saskatchewan, first down.
Well, they didn't get the license number on the player who blocked illegally, but they did get the Roughriders stopped well back in their own territory.
Head referee Bud Steen is being awfully nice to the guys today by not bringing them on those calls. It was a great run, though, and as you see, the Winnipeg cheerleaders are here today, as well as a number of Winnipeg fans that always make this trip, which is about a 5-hour drive from Regina.
First and 10. Saskatchewan on the 15 and nowhere to go. For Lucius Floyd, a flag is down once more.
Well, that's a great job by number 8, Ken Petway, to come in from his inside halfback spot and force that play. But once again, the flag's really taking precedence here in the first quarter.
Offside, Winnipeg, 52, first down repeater.
Mike Gray caught leaving a little early that time. So it'll be first and 5, Saskatchewan. Out now at the Roughrider 20.
First down at 5, they're at the 20.
Another flag, and this is Nelson Jones. Nowhere for Jones to go either. Gray was in on the tackle. This time the penalty will be against Saskatchewan.
Take the 5, give the 5. This game can slow down in a hurry when procedures and the offside start taking effect.
Roughrider coach John Gregory in his fourth CFL
57, decline, second down.
Bill Polecat, Bob Foley, the right guard, got called for moving a little early. Number 57, there you see it. How about him? 13 years. He's been banging heads in this league.
So this is second and 5, Saskatchewan. From the shotgun. Austin, near side. Nice defensive play. Elgard, the intended receiver, and Sampson on the battle left side.
Sampson did a great job here. He stayed off and gave Elgard some, and then at the last second broke to the football and came over the top to knock that one away. I mean, you can't do it any better, and Sampson's height really helped here. At 6'2", he's able to come up and over the top and time it perfectly. He's been with the Bombers for 5 years, and that's the matchup that we told you about. We will hear from Daryl Sampson, but with the Bombers for 5 seasons, and now his third year as a starter.
Third down in a kicking situation for rookie Saskatchewan punter Mike Lazecki. Steve Zatolnik takes it at midfield. Good return as he sets the Bombers up near the 40. Stopped there by Glenn Suter.
So the Blue Bombers have outstanding field position with 7:29 to play in the opening quarter. It's all even at Taylor Field in Regina. The Bombers have 3, and so do the Roughriders.
Some things are more important to your peace of mind than you realize. Like knowing how to maintain regularity without drugs or medication. But do you know nutrition experts recommend increasing your dietary fiber intake as a drug-free way to promote regularity? And did you know that All Bran, part of a balanced diet, is a very high source of dietary fiber? Kellogg's All Bran, every day. A drug-free way to promote regularity.
I know it's late, but we need that part fast.
When you need a courier who works late, like you do, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
It was shipped. I can tell you exactly where it is.
When you need a courier who keeps tabs on things, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
James Murphy back in the lineup for his second game after injuring a finger, and we thought a great matchup would occur this afternoon with James against Albert Brown. So we simply asked him, tell us about Albert Brown and what you can do against him.
Well, Leaf, I think Albert has found him a home here in Regina. He's playing real well. You know, he's a very physical player. He enjoys playing tough football. And that's going to be a challenge for me today to see if I can get by him, see if I can run a few hooks on him, maybe run a couple double combination patterns on him. That's how you got to beat that guy. Try and outsmart him.
From the 40, this is a Winnipeg first down, and this is Robert Mims. Hard running inside the 40 to the 35.
You know, James Murphy talks about the double combination pattern. You're talking stuff like hook and go or an out and up, and try and fool Albert Brown with that. But, you know, if there's one guy in the league that runs the hook pattern the best, I think it's number 21, James Murphy. And Albert Brown will definitely have his hands full against one of the more cagier wide receivers around.
Well, it's tied for the Rough Rider lead with interceptions on the season. He has 4. This is second down and 5. Lee Hull can't bring it down.
You know, really, John, a rookie mistake. Lee Hull is in the lineup replacing Eric Streeter, who's out with a hip flexor, and Lee Hull, not a very experienced receiver. A rookie from Holy Cross, and you'll see as Burgess rolls to the outside, there was a lane created. Now, he's expecting Lee Hull to stay outside into that lane between Richie Hall and the outside linebacker. Hull comes too far to the inside, and that pass can't be completed.
And a holding call takes the Bombers back to the 45.
Second and 14 at the 45-yard line for second down.
Second and 14 now with 6:32 to play in the first quarter. Burgess to the near side, and Rodney Hughes was really not in position to make the catch.
First game that Rodney Hughes has played for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, a rookie from Delta State, and with a matchup on a veteran, Larry Hogue, the defensive back. He's been around this league for 8 years, easily won by Larry Hogue. Good coverage there. I would think head coach Mike thought of him briefly, would be a little concerned at this point. Tommy Burgess and a Winnipeg offense who ranks 7th in an 8-team league, and total offense is struggling here in the first quarter.
Here's Bob Cameron, simply the CFL's best punter. 42.9 his average on the season. He is steady. And Richie Hall is the injured Saskatchewan Roughrider.
Well, they call him the Pint, and not surprising. 5'6", 160 pounds. I can tell you, he has a heart about the same size as that 5'6". He is a very gutsy little player, and 3 times he's been a Western All-Star at that inside safety spot.
Came over from Calgary, former Stampeder.
Ivan Gutfring, the trainer, I can't believe it. Ivan's been with the club officially for 13 years. He was a guest trainer for a few years before that, but 13 years.
Richie Hall heads to the sidelines. It looks like he'll be back.
He will be back. It's tough to keep him out.
Too deep for the Bob Cameron kick. Cameron stands at his own 50. This is Mark Guy on the goal line. And Guy has a tough time getting out of the end zone. He's up to about the 2. Great kick by Cameron. Sampson, the tacklers, a 2-yard return.
Well, we talk about Daryl Sampson and the matchup against Ray Elgard this afternoon. And of course, Elgard was 51 catches, leading the league. And we said to Daryl, you're really going to have your hands full. Tell us a bit about Ray Elgard and what it takes to play against him.
Ray Elgard's a big receiver. He's very physical. He's the type of player that'll come off the line and really push at you and push you back and try to get separation. The main thing a defensive back would have to do against Ray Elgard is to give him a little distance, let him break on his route, and then you break to the ball. After that, you just have to hope and make the tackle, because when you go in, he's very physical and he can knock you off, and then you're going to be running for
Jeff Fairholm. 107 yards in the touchdown. Jeff Fairholm. Elgard helped a lot on that play, but Fairholm got wide open.
Oh, and Petway, number 8, the inside halfback. He gambled and he lost. He came underneath. Austin just laid it out perfectly, and Jeff Fairholm, who has great speed anyway, but he didn't need it there because after Petway missed, it was all over. The longest pass, obviously, for a touchdown this year by any rider was probably the longest in the league. 107 yards, Jeff Fairholm, 3-year starter from Arizona.
Now, if Sampson had Elgard fairly well covered on that play, that's the strength of this Saskatchewan. The 2 great inside receivers.
Oh, they are tough. You stop Elgard and Fairholm beats you. You stop Fairholm and Elgard beats you. And this is why the Roughriders have been so tough not only last year, but this year. And Jeff Fairholm with his 4th touchdown. And he has had a bad hamstring. And it looks as though the hamstring definitely 100% now.
Jeff Fairholm's 4th touchdown reception of the season. Ken Austin obviously getting congratulations from upstairs. He was on the phone. And there's green everywhere. The celebration's on right now.
Well, you know, Ken Austin unusually has not thrown a touchdown pass of over 40 yards this year. So he gets his first one over 40 and it goes 107.
Touchdown in Rough Rider history. How about that? 107 yards. Bombers set for the return. This is Hull. And he'll give the Bombers excellent field position. Stopped there by Boyko and Goldsmith.
Celsius, what's that? About 87, 88 degrees this afternoon for our American viewers. So we're trying to figure out what Celsius means.
And some of our Canadian viewers who haven't got it
I'll
figured
tell you
out
what,
either.
I am still in Fahrenheit. I can't get used to this Celsius.
4:56 to go in the opening quarter. The Bombers, first down for Winnipeg, 43. There's another Winnipeg first down. James Murphy makes the catch and steps up. Working on Albert Brown.
Well, last week, James Murphy came back into the lineup. He split a finger in practice and took about 8 stitches in there. Very uncomfortable and painful to play with. He missed a few games and came back with a storm last week. A couple of touchdowns in their big win over the Calgary Stampeders.
They spot the ball a half a yard short of the first down. And on 2nd and 1, Burgess should have the first. No flags. The Roughriders out in front of Tom Burgess and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Winnipeg first down at the 54. Burgess looks deep for Hall. Bombers will be called for holding. Protection looked a little too good.
Well, you know, they're second in the league in sacks given up, so you know over the most part they have done a good job.
Winnipeg number 68, first down repeated.
But that time, Nick Benjamin, the right guard, got flagged for the holding call just to give Burgess a little extra time to throw. Nick, originally a first-round pick with the Ottawa Roughriders in 1985, came over in a trade last season to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Good size, 6'3", 280 pounds. He's quick, too. You watch him pulling on any of the sweeps that they run with Robert Binns, and number 68 will be right out in front of him.
Burgess on 1st and 20. Intending it for a house. And he was off target. The big guy, Ray Elgard.
Leads the league in reception so far. In 1990 with 51 coming in this afternoon's play. But it is a hot one. He's got the towel on already, too. We haven't even finished the first quarter.
2nd and 20 now for Burgess and the Bombers. He won't get it away. Looks like Saskatchewan has come up with a loose football. Chuck Klingbeil. Pressure on Burgess. He coughed up the ball. .3:21 to go in the opening quarter. And a big turnover favors the Saskatchewan Roughriders. First down, Saskatchewan. Deep in Winnipeg territory when we return.
How you doing? Well, we've invited a number of people to our showroom to get their reaction to our new Suzuki Sidekick. I'm going to show them Sidekick's air-conditioned luxury. Then I'll show them how tough Sidekick is. Four-wheel drive, front disc. Then I'll show them how much fun Sidekick is. Automatic transmission, power steering, hardtop, or convertible. Then I take this piece of paper, I write down Suzuki's price, and hold it up like this. Oh, here they go again. Man, you really like these Suzukis.
If you missed it on Saturday night at the Skydome in Toronto, we had a CFL record 111 points scored in this game. Keith Costello returned to fumble for a touchdown as the Argos scored 21 points in the space of 1 minute and 40 seconds in the second quarter to break the game open. In the fourth quarter, Doug Flutie to Ray Alexander for a touchdown that broke the record. 68-43 Toronto, the final in this one.
111 points, an awful lot in the CFL.
John, you know what's crazy? Like, if you're the BC Lions and before the game, you maybe sit around and talk about some of the goals you'd like to have in the game, and I'm sure 43 points should have been one of their goals to score. But did you ever in your life think you gave up 68? I mean, I can't believe that game last night.
What did you think of Matthews going for the two-point conversion late in the game to make it an even 70?
That was brutal.
Cal Murphy said somebody would get for Matthews on that one.
You know what? I thought it was really brutal. Now, I know they were having fun, and it was a great night, and everybody was laughing and having a good time, but if you're on the other end and they're doing that to the end of the game, it's not a lot of fun.
First down, Saskatchewan after the turnover at the Winnipeg 37. Austin looks to the end zone. Narcisse, the intended receiver, and he couldn't catch up to it. Still covering on Don Narcisse.
Don Narcisse has caught a pass in every game he's played as a Saskatchewan Roughrider, and so far this year, 37 times he has hauled passes in from Ken Austin. Last year, 81 catches for Narcisse. They're paying a little closer attention to him this year. Boy, he's up against Rod Hill this afternoon, too. And Rod Hill, in my book, one of the best in the game at the corner spot, all-Canadian, 89. He's going to be a tough guy to beat.
2nd and 10. From the shotgun, Austin. Narcisse makes the catch. That's a first down. Near the Winnipeg 21. 16-yard gain for Don Narcisse.
Oh, this is a great call. They send 4 receivers to the wide side of the field, and they know they get 1-on-1 on the backside with Narcisse now. He makes a great catch. Tyrone Jones is coming from his middle linebacking spot, and he is a big guy at 6'3", 235, and Narcisse did a good job to hang on to that one.
To the end zone. Austin for Guy. He ended up with 2 Blue Bomber defenders on top of him. Les Brown was there. And David Bovell, the safety.
Now, this is what you need from your middle safety. You need a guy that has some good range to get over and help out the corner on those posts. And Bovell was right there. So was Les Brown, who leads the league in interceptions with 9. But that's what you like from a young guy in the middle. Dave Bovell, in his first year with the Bombers, comes up with a good hit on Mark Guy. And Les Brown comes up limping.
It stays in. 2nd and 10. Big charge on Austin. He escapes. Has the first down. Stopped short of the touchdown near the 4. The safety, Dave Bovell, makes the stop.
Well, Ken Austin only averages about 4 yards a carry, so you know when he does this, it's strictly out of necessity. Good coverage downfield dictated that he runs with the football, and 17 yards later, he gets it down to the 4-yard line, and the Roughriders got a nice drive going after that fumble recovery by Chuck Linville, the defensive tackle.
1st and goal to go. Austin, touchdown. Narcisse was all alone. Very impressive drive after the turnover. Third touchdown for Don Narcisse. The Riders have opened up a rather comfortable advantage at 16-3.
Kind of unusual coverage breakdown on the goal line. You know, you expect bump and run coverage, and yet Rod Hill playing off. Narcisse just went over the goal line, stopped, and waited for Austin to deliver the football to him. Well, he made a couple of nice catches on that drive. That big catch over the middle on 2nd and 10, and now the touchdown reception to give the Roughriders a 17-3 lead, and Wellesley, they have things going pretty much their own way.
Well, they got a couple of breaks. They got the turnover, of course, and then they haven't had good field position. So they tried to Fairholm, deep in Saskatchewan territory, 107 yards. So a couple of quick touchdowns for Saskatchewan.
Well, 2 touchdown passes. Ken Austin was 16 now on the season, and he is having himself a really good year. And he's got a career already the 4th leading passer in Roughrider history. What a great crowd here at Taylor Field. You know, capacity here 27,600, and yet they're hoping to squeeze in 31,000 here. We'll have that figure probably later in the first quarter, but Taylor Field is jammed. They got the big shoehorn out today to get all these ones in.
Well, they're jammed in the end zone. There are no seats available, and whatever they could get into the end zone will be tallied, and we'll have the official total attendance later, but it looks like it could be a team record. This is Lee Hull. For the Blue Bombers. And Hull gives Winnipeg pretty good field position out at the 37. Boyko leading the tacklers that time for Saskatchewan.
There's the scoring drive, 37 yards in 5 plays. Of course, by the fumble recovery by Chuck Klingbeil that gave the Riders the ball at the 37-yard line, and it took them 5 plays to get the touchdown from Don Narcisse.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders coming into this game -1 in the takeaway giveaway category, so they're back to even on the season, and they really did take advantage of their opportunity.
Burgess for Hudson. Started running before he really had possession.
Well, when he has been healthy, he had a pulled calf muscle rather, and missed 3 games with that, but when he has been healthy, he has been a huge part of their offense this season, coming over in a trade with the Toronto Argonauts. The fullback in their scheme of things at 6'2", 2 1/4. Excellent receiver out of the backfield. That time could not hang on.
2nd and 10, Blue Bombers at the Winnipeg 36. James Murphy gets the Bombers out of a big hole and a catch down near the 51 of Saskatchewan. A 22-yard reception for James Murphy. Big play, Lee.
It really was, John. You know, Murphy's such a cagey receiver. He saw Glenn Suter, the safety, coming over to help out Albert Brown, and he made a nice catch.
Offside. Saskatchewan number 7, penalty declined. First down.
Say so.
What you always like about a receiver is a guy that, you know, he knows he's going to get clobbered when he catches this ball. You go in the middle, you expect to get hit, but see how he catches it, brings it back in, and then gets ready to avoid the hit. I thought it was Suter, but it actually was Larry Hogue, the safety on the other side.
28 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. The Roughriders lead 17-3. First down, Winnipeg. And Lee Hull made made the catch, but had nowhere to go. Roughriders pointing to a loose ball, but it was whistled down.
Well, that play is great if you can get the block initially on the corner covering the wide receiver. That time they couldn't get Stacey Harrison. He was in to mess up the play before it really gets started. Consequently, they lose a yard.
Final play of the opening quarter. Second and 11, Blue Bombers. Ferguson traveling down again. Bobby Jurison was through number 71. For Jurison, that's his 5th sack of the season. And for the Bombers, that is the end of the opening quarter, with Saskatchewan prevailing for the opening 15 minutes at Taylor Field. It's 17-3, but a lot more football action still to come.
He's a live minnow and a bobber. He swims around down there.
I hear him down there. His ear fish lips smacking. Yeah, it looks good to me, too. I don't know why they don't bite the things.
No actions at all. Fish?
Yeah.
You ain't gonna find anything better than this fish. Mr. Minnow. I got worms, you guys.
Tell the doctor about that, Greg.
OV. Real life beer.
Wake up, Big Canada, wake up. Today is our McCain Day.
What's the secret of McCain's richer tasting juice? More oranges. McCain concentrates the juice of more oranges into every can. More than Minute Maid, more than Old South. So you have a special reason to buy McCain.
You bet I do.
It's like an extra squeeze of juice in every glass. So compared to Minute Maid and Old South, you have an extra reason to drink McCain.
You bet I do.
Wake up to McCain.
Every year they hit the books and study hard. CIAU football on TSN. TSN has a class of 9 battling their way throughout the year for a bid at the national championship. TSN has a full season of college ball, including playoff finals, and all the excitement that is the Vanier Cup. It's CIAU football as the Waterloo Warriors take on the Concordia Stingers Saturday, 1 Eastern, and here on TSN. Ready for the second quarter at Taylor Field in Regina. A third down kicking situation blocked. Boyko got through to block Bob Cameron's kick, and Boyko goes down and comes up with the ball. Dragged down by Bob Cameron. Riders are fired up. Bruce Boyko out of Western Michigan. There is a flag down. Hang on 1 second.
We've got Saskatchewan 58 holding after the block. It will be first down Saskatchewan, 10 yards back.
After the block kick, a holding call, but Saskatchewan maintains possession. Here's what happened.
A great effort by Bruce Boyko coming in from the left side. He went high in the air and sacrificed the old body to come up with that block run, and not only gets the block, but gets the Riders another turnover in great scoring position.
Number 33. The guy, and he couldn't hang on.
That was too easy.
Bruce, trust me, nothing's too easy in this game.
Hit me. He just sort of pushed me, you know. Oh, man.
But did it hurt when the ball hit you?
Yeah, Ma.
He won't tell me.
Second and 10. Saskatchewan, Winnipeg 33. Here's out side. Elgard makes the catch. Elgard wins that battle with Darrell Sampson.
First down Riders on
his first catch of the afternoon.
I thought it was interesting what Darrell Sampson said about playing against Ray Elgard. He said he liked to give him some room, and then when the ball is in the air, break on the ball quickly. He doesn't want Elgard to get into him and push off, and although he played it exactly as he wanted to, that pass was just too good to break up.
From the 21. First down, Saskatchewan. Good Good defensive coverage by Les Brown on Mark Guy that time.
Oh, you can't do it any better than Les Brown. He reads the hook quickly on Mark Guy, comes up and breaks the ball down. And, you know, Les had some great years with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 1985, 1986, he was an All-Canadian with them. In 1986, he won a Grey Cup with them. And, you know, you always kind of wonder what happens to guys that are released like that and end up going to other teams. And, you know, Les thought it was just simply a personality conflict between himself and Al Bruno. And, hey, you know, that happens in this game. You got 40 guys in a team. The coach doesn't like everybody. But he's enjoying a great year in Winnipeg now.
On 2nd and 10. A flag down. Coverage too tight on Don Narcisse. Rod Hill gets the flag. Lonely spot to be right now.
Winnipeg, number 10, in goal. First down, Saskatchewan on the 1.
Well, Rod Hill says Crapper, and that's a good matchup this afternoon with Don Narcisse. They both fight for the football extremely hard when it's up in the air, and you'll see just the contact initiated before the ball gets there, and boy, the official has no choice but to throw the flag.
It is a first down. Saskatchewan as a result. First and goal to go at the 1. Another flag is down. They call it a touchdown. Against the Bombers, the touchdown will stand. Riders are on a roll. 23-3 now. Ken Austin himself. A little doubt about the scoring play.
Well, that's his first touchdown of the year on the ground. I guess he said this is the 9th game of the year. It's about time I got one. Heck with Nelson Jones and the rest of the guys. I deserve to get one, and he picks up his first of the year. Everything is going the right way here in the first half.
Set up that one.
2 times in a row now. The turnover to kill the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. A fumble recovery by Chuck Klingbeil on a Burgess fumble, and now the block punt by Bruce Boyko. That translates into 14 points in a hurry for the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense.
Well, so far, it is Ken Austin winning the rematch of 2 former Saskatchewan quarterbacks. Austin leads Burgess. Saskatchewan leads Winnipeg.
Gillette announces a razor that can sense the individual needs of your face. Introducing the extraordinary Gillette Sensor Shaving System. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and adjust to your face for the best shave a man can get. Closer, smoother, safer. New Gillette Sensor.
Saskatchewan's Kent Austin has tossed for a couple and carried one in himself to lead the Saskatchewan Roughriders to a rather comfortable advantage.
County, Gordon, great triplet back in Nashville. I love y'all. Go get another one.
24-3 right now.
Talk you soon.
Oh, he looks good, doesn't he, Welty? He's had everything going his way so far in his 9 starts this year.
Leading passer in the league right now with over 2,500 yards coming into this one.
He's the leading guy in that efficiency rating. I mean, you got to be a rocket scientist to figure out this pass efficiency rating. I still have yet to figure it out, but I'll tell you, he's the #1 guy.
Here's Steve Zatoni on the return for Winnipeg. Tackled by Orville Lee out at the 32.
Only brought down by 22 Orville Lee.
Well, the Bombers will put the hook on their starter this afternoon. Tom Burgess enter Danny McManus.
Well, you folks in Florida will remember Danny McManus as he started for the Florida State Seminoles. And, well, as I've said it before, if you're a quarterback at Florida State, you know how to throw the football. And those are the numbers that he's posted in 1990 here in Winnipeg in a backup capacity. You've got to love the 6 touchdowns and only 1 interception.
This is Robert Mims. And he had to fight for everything he got, perhaps a couple. McManus came off the bench last week to lead the Blue Bombers to victory over the Stampeders in a great overtime clash. 39-37 was the final. Burgess faltered last week and has not been able to move his Blue Bombers today either. Gain of 4. This is 2nd and 6. Winnipeg. Man is too far. Looked to be a mix-up. Signals out there. Rodney Hughes was perhaps the closest Bomber receiver.
But, John, it's as simple as this. When Tom Burgess was in, it seemed like every time on 2nd down, it was 2nd and 10, 2nd and 11, and for Danny McManus, there's 2nd and 6. And if the Winnipeg offense continues to struggle on 1st down, I mean, they're going to be in for a long afternoon. You cannot survive at 2nd and long against the Saskatchewan defense time after time, which ranks 1st in the league in total defense. So they better start throwing the quick hooks and the quick outs on 1st down to get themselves in 2nd 3 or 4, or it's going to be a long day for them.
Here's Bob Cameron again. Too deep for the Roughriders. Mark guy on the return for Saskatchewan. And really maybe a yard is all he'll get credit for. 46-yard kick for Cameron that time.
Brought down by 32, Mark Sears, on with Michael Cameron, 33.
A little concern on the Saskatchewan bench. Jeff Farrellholm, who missed 3 games because of a problem with the hamstring in the left leg, aggravated it on that long run. So he's going to take a few plays off, see if he can stretch it out and loosen it up a little bit. And he may play a little bit later. Looks like Bruce Boyko will probably see some action for a while, guys.
Boyko has been in on the sequence already, and of course, he got through to block that punt. Lucius Floyd carrying for the Roughriders for about 3.5, maybe 4 yards.
I believe that's the first time Lucius Floyd has carried the football this afternoon, and he is filling in, of course, for Timmy McRae, the starter at the beginning of the year. But Lucius Floyd has done a nice job. This is his 5th game, 26 catches. Boy, he's got some great hands out of that backfield.
Spent a little time with the Seattle Seahawks. 2nd and 6. Lost all kinds of time. Looks deep for Narcisse. It was not a catchable ball. The Rider fans still want a flag.
I kind of wanted one too. Well, you can have a great look at it. And of course, the ruling is if you can't catch it, you can't really call interference. But Darrell Sampson gets the hook out right there. Oh boy, that looked pretty close. That's why the officials get paid that big money to make all those crucial calls. Unbelievable.
10:50 to go to the half. Mike Lozecki for Saskatchewan. Lozecki gets a good one away. On the return, number 71 for Winnipeg. Roughriders special teams. And then pretty well hemmed in. 56-yard kick for the rookie Saskatchewan punter Lozecki. So it is the Roughriders leading the way 24-3 on the Blue Bombers at Taylor Field on Labor Day.
Sie müssen uns den Bericht so schnell wie möglich senden, weil einer
When you need a courier with connections to the EMS worldwide network, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
I know it's Saturday. We had a small fire, and I need to duplicate this Monday.
When you need a courier who's always there, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
I just don't like wearing a seatbelt. It's so confining. And besides, it wrinkles my dress.
Oh, dear. Wrinkling is pretty dress. Let me fix the belt.
Where did they get off trying to tell me to wear a motorcycle helmet? I hate to be told what to do. And it's my life anyway. Hey, helmets are uncomfortable, right?
I know it's uncomfortable, but we'll get you there as soon as we can.
If you think seatbelts are confining and motorcycle helmets are uncomfortable, consider the alternatives.
Roy Bennett was one of the great quarterbacks in this league for 3 or 4 years. He led the Bombers in interceptions with 13 a couple of years back. Les Brown leads the band of renown this year. He's got 9 in the first 8 games.
Roy Bennett end up? Did he not go to San Diego and try his luck down there?
He might have, yeah.
Is he still there?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm not either. It is a hot one here at Taylor Field.
Well, there's the happy side of the field. Saskatchewan, 24-3 lead. Roughriders have really turned the season around, beating the Eskimos a couple of weeks ago. Last week they came back with an impressive win over the Tiger Cats. Today, 4 points in the opening half, and there's still 10:30 to go.
Well, they're a kind of team that if you're a head coach, you love to have. I mean, they only got one rookie in the starting lineup, and that's Stacey Harrison on the corner, who's doing an excellent job, but they didn't have to make a lot of changes this season as they started out, and Winnipeg has had to make some changes. 2 new quarterbacks in their system, McManus and Burgess. And, of course, James West, the middle linebacker, who is an all-star every year, is not playing today with a broken arm.
Let's try something a little special. Reverse to Murphy. Murphy gets away. He has the first down. Out to the 50. That play almost didn't work, but he made it.
That is a major league run, and Ted Heath, who was in your picture there as the defensive line coach for the Riders, and I'm sure he's going to have a little chat with Chuck Klingbeil and Bobby Jurison right here, because James Murphy splits them right there and goes on to pick up a first down. He should have been hit for a loss.
Instead, it is a 15-yard gain. And the Bombers are out at their own 49. This is Danny McManus at quarterback now. Flag down as McManus fires to the far side. We'll see what the
Winnipeg
call is.
number 69 was holding on the play. First down repeated.
First and 20. Not much has gone right for the Blue Bombers since the opening drive, really.
Well, Scott Rettle, that side on the right guard, in replacing Nick Benjamin, got caught for the holding. And boy, when they've had trouble with 2nd and 10, now you're talking 1st and 20. This is not a good spot to be in against the Saskatchewan defense.
Here's a big play by Rick House. That'll be a first down. 2 receivers in the area. Rick House made the catch. And that is just what the Bombers needed.
Well, I mean, usually 1st and 20, you try and pick up 10 on the first down and 10 on the second one, but they get it all back on one try here as Richie Hall gambles to come underneath, and Rick House slides in behind him, makes a nice soft catch, and Danny McManus has his first down quarterbacking the Bombers this afternoon.
8:39 to go till halftime. Bombers at the Saskatchewan 49. Robert Mims. Good effort by Mims. He should have been stopped, but he's out with a gain of better than 7.
Robert Mims leading the Canadian Football League in rushing after 8 games of the season. Boy, you knew he was a good one if he could come into camp and beat out Tim Jesse there. The great move on Eddie Lowe, who was an all-Canadian linebacker last year. A spin through the line, and boy, the runs don't come any tougher or any better than that one by Robert Mims. He only picked up 7, but that was a lot of hard work.
2nd and 3. Stonewall went up, and Mims got nothing that time.
Well, Wayne Drinkwater, number 77, who has come into the football game with all the heat this afternoon. Both teams rotating some defensive and offensive linemen in there to keep everybody fresh as they can, and he made a great play. In fact, he's the one that's hurt, but he stuffed that hole, and they had no chance to pick up the first down. That's an interesting statistic. They are first, and they allow only 4 yards every time somebody runs the football. So if you come into Taylor Field and think you're going to establish some kind of running game in here to work the passing game off it, you can forget about it against these guys.
Hot afternoon taking its toll out here. 7:35 to last. Saskatchewan out in front of the Blue Bombers, 24-3. Both teams coming into this Labor Day Classic with 2 impressive wins over the last couple of weeks. But the Roughriders have really gained some momentum. An impressive win over the Edmonton Eskimos.
Well, John Gregory's been a very patient coach this year. He comes off a Grey Cup victory in '89, and of course everybody, not only in Regina but around the league, expects such great things from the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And although at this point they are 4-4, they are really on quite a roll in the Western Conference and in complete control of this football game so far.
Interesting that in the Grey Cup year 1989, the Roughriders, after 8 games, had the same record, 4-4.
They feel like this is a good omen. If they can be 4-4 every year, you know it's going to be a good season.
Bombers go gambling. A 3rd and 3. McManus makes it pay off. Rick House makes the catch.
Now that's a great job by a veteran receiver. You know, House has been around for 12 years, and he has seen every zone defense thrown at him. And this time he knows where the hole is between Richie Hall, the inside safety, and the middle linebacker, Tuane Alapate. Although they blitz, they play zone in behind it, and House finds the open spot and makes a great catch. And you talk about a good throw. McManus put it right on target.
1st and 10, Blue Bombers. Saskatchewan 32. McManus draws a flag. He looked for James Murphy, and a flag is down. Brown was covering on Murphy. I would guess pass interference out there.
Albert Brown walled Murphy off to the inside, and when he broke back to the corner, he got a hand on him. And
pass interference, Saskatchewan, number 4, 1st down.
And this keeps the Bomber drive alive.
Well, you know, Murph wants to catch the deep one, and he felt like he could get in behind Albert Brown today. Albert Brown, exceptionally good cornerback on that left side. Second year, he's been the starter on the corner for them. But that's the matchup we talked about, and although Murph didn't catch the ball, he did the next best thing. He got the interference called, and the Blue Bombers finally have the drive put together here, aided by the penalty.
A 25-yard penalty sets the Bombers up. 1st and goal to go at the 7. Mims draws 2 flags. Hogue was there. Rasevich was there, and the middle linebacker, Alapate.
Well, he flipped a coin on this call.
Saskatchewan number 91 in goal. 1st down on the 1.
They got the middle linebacker, Alapate.
You're going to see Alapate trying to cover Robert Mims. He's got the hand on the left shoulder pad giving him a tug. The officials thought it's a good call, and that sets up 1st and goal on the 1-yard line.
Touchdown. Mims carried through. The Bombers close the gap. At least a little. 24-9 at this stage. 6:06 till the half.
Good lead block by number 37, Warren Hudson, on Tuane Alapate. That's all you can ask for is 1 block. And then most of the time at short yardage, you have to do it yourself. You either have to beat the guy or run over him. And Robert Mims, with the spin move, gets into the end zone. His 4th touchdown on the ground so far in 1990.
Trevor Kennard for the point after. Keeps a perfect record for converts intact this season. So with 6:06 to play till halftime, the Blue Bombers get back in it, trailing by a couple of touchdowns, but there's a long way to go.
Hey, you've got talent.
Oh, it's just a hobby. Someday I'd like to do it full time, but my retirement's a long way off.
Perhaps you have the wrong retirement plan.
Aren't they all alike?
No, your plan should be as individual as you are.
Oh, really?
Yes, at the Mutual Group, because we're a group.
We've got different financial services, different options.
Together, we'll work out a plan that lets you retire when you want.
And get on with the real business of painting.
The Mutual Group. Facing tomorrow together.
There's some baseball news involving Dave Steve today, and we'll update that story for you at the half here on the CFL on TSN. You'll also meet some of the newcomers in the league, some of the CFL's best rookies through 8 weeks of play in this 1990 season. And we'll have highlights of an entertaining first half from Taylor Field with Lee Pedersen. All that coming up at halftime here on the CFL on TSN.
Well, we can't can't keep the fans in too much suspense on Steve. We'll say that he finally got the no-hitter today.
How about that? Boy, he's tried to go. How many times has he had a one-hitter?
Boy, he has been close. Yeah. Not this year particularly, but last year there's a couple of times back-to-back.
Yeah, he was one out away. Well, good for him. Congratulations, David. Steve? 3-zip the final at Cleveland this afternoon. We should also welcome our viewers on Sports Channel America who have joined us this afternoon for the ball game. We can tell you that the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the hometown heroes here, are leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 24-10 in the annual Labor Day Classic, a game that's always preceded by great emotion and expectation from the fans from both cities along with the players.
This is Orville Lee. He has been sensational on kick return since coming over to the Saskatchewan Roughriders from Ottawa. Another example right there. 48 yards on the kickoff return as Orville Lee sets the Roughriders up in great shape here.
Orville Lee was really disenchanted with the Ottawa Roughriders early in the season, asked for a trade, and he was granted his wish, and they sent him out west to the Western Saskatchewan Roughriders. And although he's not in the starting lineup, he's doing his best on the kickoff returns and punt returns. He's averaging 29 yards every time he touches it on the kickoff return, and that time a 48-yarder gets the offense in great field position.
First down, Saskatchewan. Lucius Ford makes the catch. He's forced out near the 42.
Yards in 6 plays by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, culminating in that 1-yard touchdown run by Robert Mims that has narrowed the gap. And some news in the crowd. 31,128 here at Taylor Field today. That is an all-time Saskatchewan Roughrider record.
What is fun to see here at Taylor Field today is the people sitting in the end zones on grass down there. They're just out with their lawn chairs. They sold some extra rush tickets for this one. Lucius Floyd. And there was nowhere to go. It'll be third down.
You know, John, when you look at Taylor Field here, its capacity is 27,600 and some. And, you know, they squeeze in 31,128. You know, a lot of people are willing to pay a few bucks to come and watch a football game with a pretty lousy vantage point. There it is. Interesting enough that the previously biggest draw was Winnipeg as well on a Labor Day game. And yes, there are some good spots that you can't get into the stadium.
At the garage directly across the street here. And those tickets don't cost anything. Here's Dave Ridgway. A 47-yard field goal try. Wide this time. Lee Hall on the return, and he gets out across the 22, stopped by Lucius Floyd, number 31, Saskatchewan.
Oh, in the Canadian Football League, you not only get to be a starting running back, sometimes you get to cover kicks and work the special teams. And number 31, Lucius Floyd, who starts the running back spot for the Riders, is no exception. And he's down covering that missed field goal and makes a pretty good hit.
4:42 till halftime. First and 10, Blue Bombers. With Danny McManus at quarterback out of Florida State. Winnipeg beginning at the 21. And this one, Richie Hall has Hall inside the 5. Another turnover. Easy interception.
Trying to hit on this play, simply overthrows maybe Robert Mims, but nowhere near him. And the easiest interception that Richie Hall will ever have in his career. They call him the Pint. He's only 5'6" and 160 pounds, but size didn't mean a whole lot on that play as he came off his initial receiver and gets the interception on Danny McManus. McManus' second interception he's given up in 1990 here with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Costly one it could be with Saskatchewan. First and goal to go at the Winnipeg 4. Wilson Jones halfway to the goal.
Hey, Cheryl, I'll see you tonight. That one's for you, honey. We're going to be all right. It'll be a good game. Wish you were here, baby. I love you. Yeah. What's up, Hop?
There's Danny McManus McManus and Tom Burgess. Tom Burgess started the football game, number 13. Did not have a great deal of success, and McManus in to take over from him from Florida State. A couple of years with the Kansas City Chiefs, holding the clipboard. Now finds himself in Winnipeg.
Jones stopped in his tracks. Quincy Williams stood up. Milson Jones.
He did a great job from his left end spot. He penetrated and cut the hit on Milson Jones, and then Ken Pedway, number 8, the inside defensive back, came up and supported the run to keep Milson Jones from getting into the end zone. And Milson Jones, who has been so good at short yardage situations for the Riders in his career at 6 feet, 240 pounds. He's listed at 2 1/4, but the head coach said not a chance. He's up to 240 right now. Quincy Williams with a nice play.
So on third down, it'll be Dave Ridgway.
Throwing it inside.
No mistake about that short chip shot for Ridgway. The Riders pad their total, taking advantage of another turnover. Could have been worse for Winnipeg. 3-minute warning is up at Taylor Field in Regina, with the Roughriders out in front of the Blue Bombers by 17.
We're opening the doors to a hot new club. Introducing McDonald's new McChicken Club. The delicious taste of tender chicken with sizzling bacon, crisp lettuce, juicy red ripe tomato, and mayo on a sesame bun. Club style, just $2.49. So go out for the hot new taste of McChicken Club. But shake it, because McChicken Club won't be here for long.
A look at the CFL East Division standings with the 9th week underway. Toronto pulling into a second-place tie with Hamilton as a result of their victory Saturday night over the British Columbia Lions. In the West, it's the Calgary Stampeders and the Edmonton Eskimos atop the standings, with Saskatchewan trying to close ground. Calgary and Edmonton meet Monday afternoon in Calgary and next Friday at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton.
Blue Bomber coach Mike Riley in his 4th CFL season. His coaching record 34-28. The highlight was the '88 Grey Cup. John Gregory won the Grey Cup a year later, 1989. Also in his 4th year, in 1990.
You have to like Gregory, though. He's a real straight shooter. In our meeting with him yesterday, you know, anything you ask him, he pretty near tells you about his club. Unless you get too personal. Always a great guy for us to come into town and deal with, and got a nice group to work with. A real veteran ball club here in Regina. We're on a roll with looking for their 3rd victory in a row today.
Into the final 3 minutes of the opening half, the Blue Bombers with a first down, beginning at the Winnipeg 35. McManus with time. Looks to the far side for James Murphy, 21.
Murph initially ran to a hook, and then it looked like he wanted to turn into a hook and go, and if you're not on the same page as your quarterback, that hook and go can end up going the wrong way in a hurry.
McManus threw an interception just moments ago. Richie Hall set up a Saskatchewan field goal with a run down to the 4. 2nd and 10. Rodney Hughes makes the catch across the 40 near the 42, but he's short of the first down.
Really been the problem for the Winnipeg offense in this first half. Just terrible first down production. So many times 2nd and 10 or longer. And boy, as a quarterback, you just can't make a living being expected to convert on 2nd and 10 all the time. I think Danny McManus has to try and establish some kind of running game or hit the quick passes out in the flat or the quick hooks. But to ask him time and time again to convert 2nd and 10 is just too tough against Saskatchewan's defense.
This is Bob Cameron. Had one blocked earlier. Who's got it? No return. Mark Guy finally took the ball away from Orville Lee. And Jones, Tyrone Jones, led the Blue Bomber tacklers.
big transition for Tyrone Jones this afternoon. He's used to playing the outside linebacking spot in their 3-4 scheme of things, but with the injury to their all-star middle linebacker, James West, out with a broken arm, and he'll be gone for 6 to 8 weeks. Ty Jones has had to move into the middle today, and I think that's a pretty big switch for a linebacker to all of a sudden change in midstream and work into the middle. His reads are totally different, and he's asked to do a lot more side-to-side tackling, a lot more running for him.
1st and 10 Roughriders, Saskatchewan 23. This is Mark Guy with a catch, and extra yards to boot. He's out to the 50. Stopped by Ken Petway, 27 yards to gain. The Riders continue to roll.
Mark Guy just splits the linebackers. Greg Battle at the outside, and then the middle linebacker Tyrone Jones. A good delivery by Kent Austin, and Mark Guy with some excellent running ability after he catches the football. He has some great speed, 4.4 for the 40-yard dash, so when he gets his hands on the football, he's got some jets to take care of the rest. 27 yards on that pickup. Second catch for him this afternoon.
Another Saskatchewan first. This is Lucius Floyd. He has 5 yards out to midfield at the 55.
See the difference between the offenses, John. A quick pass on first down to Mark Guy. Now that's an easy pass to complete. He ends up picking up 27. Now the sweep to Lucius Floyd. He's got a good 6. Now 2nd and 4, and a pretty good spot for quarterback Kent Austin to be in. And really, quite simply, that's been the difference in the two offenses this afternoon. Saskatchewan, good first down production. Winnipeg hasn't been able to get anything on first down.
They mark that a gain of 6, 2nd and 4 Roughriders just across midfield into Winnipeg territory. From the shotgun, Austin flips for Elgard. Sampson knocks it loose, recovered by Les Brown momentarily, and then kicked out by Ken Petway accidentally. It'll be a Blue Bomber possession. Nice looking play that went awry at the very end, Lee.
Well, it's a super throw by Kent Austin. Look at the time his offensive line is giving to him. Great protection, great sight lines for him to look downfield, and you get that kind of time to throw. He's going to pick out an open receiver, and Les Brown finally shakes the ball loose at the end of that pattern, and Ken Petway dribbles it soccer style out the side door, and Winnipeg takes advantage and gets a turnover.
Quarterback did not be faulted for that. Good defense by the Blue Bombers. Could be a key play for Winnipeg. With a minute 31 to go to halftime, if the Bombers can get a drive here, score some points, second half could be a lot more interesting. Hughes, the intended receiver, it bounced once. No catch.
What a job by number 3, Larry Hogue, the 8-year veteran who spent some time with the Calgary Stampeders, graduate of Utah State, and you know, Saskatchewan in the zone coverage on 1st and 10. He just broke at the right time. It looked as though the receiver was open initially, but he stretched out that tall 5'7" frame of his and got a fingertip on the football.
Second and 10.
Once again.
Picked off. Richie Hall has his second interception in front of Rick House with a minute 21 to go. Struggle continues for Blue Bomber quarterback.
Well, 2nd and 10 once again. It seems like it's been that situation all afternoon for the Bombers. Richie Hall has done a great job. He was an all-star in the Western Conference last season. 3 times has been an all-star. He gets the interception. There is the reaction of Danny McManus, the second interception he has thrown since taking over for Tom Burgess in a relief role, and not much fun when things don't go your way.
4th Bomber turnover. The Roughriders try and score quickly and do. Mark Guy. A 25-yard touchdown. Austin on the first play after the turnover.
On the easy guy. I mean, they're going against Les Brown, who's the league leader in interceptions. Mark Guy with that quick 4.4 speed simply outruns Brown into the end zone. As you know, all the great quarterbacks I've watched over the years in the CFL try to do to get the turnover and hit the big one right away. And Kent Austin able to do that with Mark Guy.
34 to 10. The Roughriders in a waltz here so far. Turnovers very costly. Danny McManus has thrown 2 interceptions since relieving quarterback Tom Burgess. One cost Winnipeg a field goal. The second interception cost the Bombers a touchdown by Mark Guy.
Well, it's interesting. We talked at the beginning of the show that if there was one tiny criticism we could make of Kent Austin this year is that to add a little more balance to the offense, he had to get Mark Guy involved a little more. And boy, involved he gets him quickly as they hit for the 25-yard strike. The touchdown, and 24 of the 34 Saskatchewan Roughrider points today have come directly from Winnipeg turnovers. Not a great mystery to this game. You give the ball up, you get scored against, and that can tell the story in a hurry.
In recent memory, this is the 24th meeting of Saskatchewan and Winnipeg on Labor Day afternoon. The Blue Bombers have won 12. Saskatchewan has won 11. The Roughriders look ready to even the count here today. Steve Zatilny on the Bomber return up to the 25. Penalty.
Illegal block. Winnipeg number 79.
Rob Kripko. 1 minute 10 till halftime.
Look in the right-hand corner of your screen, you're going to see the illegal block. There it is by Rob Kripko. You cannot hit the guy in the back. The referee saw it, and once again, Winnipeg starts from deep in their own territory.
This is Warren Hudson. Alapati, the middle linebacker, made the tackle. Tuane Alapati. Alapati from Washington State.
Well, he has his 6th start this afternoon, John. The regular middle linebacker, Dave Albright, has been out for some time with a bad toe. He is back and slowly getting himself back into playing condition.
Murphy was the intended receiver. Murphy and Suter shoving down there. The wide receiver and the safety.
It's been that kind of a day for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Not a great deal has gone their way, and a little edgy when things don't go right. We'll see at the end of the play. And Suter comes in and gives him a little love tap. Not much, but it doesn't take much at this stage of the game to set you off.
50 seconds to go till the half. For Hughes. Covered by Larry Hogue. Rodney Hughes making his first start. I think the Bombers missed Perry Tuttle a little bit out there lately.
Whoa, the old KG veteran from Clemson, Perry Tuttle. Folks remember him. He was with Clemson Tide for Clemson Tide. Perry Tuttle sorely missed. So is Eric Streeter. I mean, Eric Streeter, an outside receiver, not in the lineup today with the hip flexor. I mean, those are 2 big guys missing, and it's tough to pick up the load.
Boyko tries to get through to block Cameron's punt again. Cameron gets it away, and this is Orville Lee on the return to the 45. 36 seconds till a half now. Saskatchewan in some difficulty in the opening moments, but not for long, really. They had bad field position until they broke loose for a big touchdown.
Well, Bruce Boyko coming pretty close to blocking another one. You recall he had one earlier that set up a touchdown, but Ken Austin with 36 seconds remaining would like to add to this total.
Lucius Floyd makes the catch, and a great one at the 20. A 25-yard gain. Big hit by Dave Bobel on Lucius Floyd. But Floyd held on.
You know, this is tough for a quarterback. Austin knows he's throwing up a sucker pass, but the only way he can get it over the linebackers, and Lucius Floyd makes an outstanding catch.
From the shotgun, Austin behind Mark Guy. 20 seconds to go to the half.
Well, Ken Austin had a super first half. 12 of 20, 275 yards, 3 touchdown passes. I mean, those are some great numbers for one half of football. 280 yards.
5 300 games for Austin already this season, so he'll make it 6 today, I would guess. This is pitcher, a newcomer in the Saskatchewan lineup. Dave Pitcher, playing in his second CFL game. 20-yard catch from Austin.
Well, he played some junior football with the Okanagan Juniors, signed with the Riders as a free agent, but he's got some great size. He's 6'2", 220 pounds, and just with the injury to Jeff Fairholm this afternoon, Bruce Boyko and David Pritchard getting a chance to play, and there you saw it. That's his first catch ever in the Canadian Football League.
Austin looks to the end zone. Narcisse.
Oh, baby! What a catch!
Don Narcisse, an amazing reception. His second of the afternoon, and Rider fans are delirious. 7 seconds till a half.
Well, the nice thing in the Canadian Football League, you can be 20 yards from the goal line and still throw the bomb with the 25-yard end zone, and folks, they don't get any better or prettier than that one right there. Donald Narcisse with his second touchdown of the game, and wow. It didn't take long, did it?
It's a blowout, 41-10. The Roughriders lead the Blue Bombers. Austin has been amazing.
Who had 81 receptions a year ago, comes up with his second touchdown of the football game, and this is a pretty one.
Narcisse, 4 of 48, couple of touchdowns, 48 yards, 2 TDs. Austin has been a terrific story, though.
Doing okay. Selena will be home tomorrow, so look forward to it. Catch the ball, get on the ball. Hey, I'm back in there.
Pretty happy group there. Ken Austin now 14 of 23, 320 yards. The 6th time in 1990 he's gone over 300 yards per game.
Time running out on the Blue Bombers in the first half. Zatilny gives Winnipeg good field position, but they won't get a chance to take advantage of it. Ken Austin out of Mississippi has the hot hand this afternoon in the Labor Day Classic at Taylor Field, Regina. It's an all Roughriders in the opening half.
This update is brought to you by Petro-Canada, dealers and agents across Canada.
Welcome back to TSN Control in Toronto. We'll send you back to Taylor Field in just a moment. But what an afternoon for Dave Stieb and the Toronto Blue Jays. He has come so close to pitching a no-hitter in the past. He finally does it today. Top of the 5th, Manny Lee doubles down the line in right. Kenny Williams scores from second base on the play. The Jays are in front 2-0. Here's Dave Stieb. He continues to mow down the Indians. Here, he will strike out Dion James. Stieb with a no-hitter through 6 innings. Dave Stieb, anxious, waiting for the bottom of the 9th inning. There he is in the dugout so he can pursue his first ever no-hitter. Top of the 9th, Freddie McGriff does it again. He unloads his 31st home run of the year, second of the game. Jays are up. It's now 3-0. Bottom of the 9th now. The fans behind Dave Stieb. He has a chance for the no-hitter. First batter of the inning, Chris James. Fly ball to left. Glenn Allen Hill pulls it in. Routine catch, 1 out. Next batter, Andy Maldonado. Stieb strikes him out with some heat. His 9th strikeout of the game. He is now 1 out away, and he has been this close before and lost it after an Alex Cole walk. Stieb faces Jerry Brown. Brown, fly ball to right. Junior Felix makes the catch. 3rd out. That's it. No hitter. Toronto Blue Jays win it 3-0. Dave Stieb with a no-hitter. We'll head back to Taylor Field in a moment.
Right now, something terrific is happening at Petro-Canada. When you purchase 4.39-cent Force of Canada postage stamps for just $1, something magical happens. Each pack of stamps you purchase contributes to the Scouts Canada tree planting programs, part of their commitment and ours to a cleaner, greener Canada. Use your coupons to purchase all 8 packs of stamps. A postage stamp has never cost so little or meant so much. Petro-Canada, committed to Canadians.
Yeah,
if they're stock or
you know what kills me? They put today's technology with all those cubic inches. They're going to have
So they are coming back with the horsepower.
They are coming back with horsepower.
With a lot less inches. Did you see that truck with the 454?
Yeah,
but they say it's gone.
Oh, really?
They can't give them away.
Where'd this hose come off of?
That was from my
That's just an extra. That's too many cheap on a video.
OV, real life beer.
Priority Courier, I have a pickup.
Call Priority Courier for overnight delivery, and you're dealing with Canada's largest courier network. You've got the whole country covered. Evenings and weekends, too. Priority Courier gets it there overnight. Guaranteed. Because your priorities are ours.
The coaches are ready. The fans are ready. The players, they're ready too. On Sunday, the question is, are you ready for NFL Game Day? Before the players take the field, get the latest breaking news right from the source on NFL Game Day. And when the day is done, join us for highlights and reactions from every game played on NFL Prime Time. Get ready with Game Day and stay in touch with Prime Time here on TSN.
Except for the people who drove all the way from Winnipeg to watch this one, the crowd here, a record-sized crowd at Taylor Field, having a great afternoon and enjoying very much the performance of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who lead 41-10 after 30 minutes of football. Every year, it seems, a lot of young players come up to the Canadian Football League to make their way and make their mark in the game. Here now, just a few members of the class of 1990.
There's a lot of good rookies to choose from this season, but there's been only one Derek Coppert. This Calgary wide receiver has proven to be a threat to go all the way every time he touches the football. He's the league's co-leader with 8 touchdowns, 5 on pass receptions, and 3 more on punt and kick returns. He's been a big reason the Stamps are sitting at the top of the West Division so far. Another big reason for the Stamps' success, Joe Clausey, a defensive lineman coming out of college. He's made a smooth transition to linebacker in the pros. Despite his roots as a lineman, Clausey has been a very active linebacker and leads the team in tackles with 40 and interceptions with 5. One of the guys he had a tough time tackling in his last outing was Winnipeg Blue Bomber Robert Mims. The Bombers had enough faith in Mims to release Tim Jesse, and so far he has not let them down. He leads the league in rushes with 127 and in rushing yardage with 565. Not bad, but Mims may not even be the best rookie running back in the CFL. It might be our final freshman phenom, Ottawa's Reggie Barnes. Barnes has only played in 4 games, but he's averaging almost 100 yards a game along the ground. His best outing was his first, when he gained 189 yards on just 20 carries against the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
A couple of those rookies from the Calgary Stampeders. No surprise, the Stampeders leading the West at this point in time. 41-10 the score after 30 minutes of football, and great football it was from Taylor Field. More ahead on the CFL on TSN.
Imagine visiting yourself in the future.
You're me. Surprise. Surprise. I'm
I'm beside myself. 23 years later, a few more gray hairs, I see. We've earned every one. We're in this lifestyle, too? How do we pay for all this? Freedom 55.
Freedom 55. Protection today, plus a financial program that works. So one day, you won't have to. Freedom 55. Talk to a London Life representative.
Here comes your future husband. I don't believe this.
Awesome speed. Outstanding skill. Split-second timing. This is CFL Pro Football Spectacular, the funniest action video of the year. There's bone-crushing blocks, devastating hits, and positively brutal quarterback sacks. Pro Football Spectacular has it all and more. Legendary quarterback Ron Lancaster leads his all-blunder team through a fun-filled football fiasco like you've never seen. From a ripe tomato to very hot potato. From frenzied fans to the most fouled-up football you've ever seen, Pro Football Spectacular is definitely in a league all by itself. It's a video for serious fans who love to have fun. You can even check out the high-level strategy.
I'd like to buy a Pro Football Spectacular video. Yeah, me too.
CFL Pro Football Spectacular. Pure fun from quality special products, and it's only $19.99. Available wherever great videos are sold.
Live from Taylor Field in Regina, the Labor Day Classic, the Blue Bombers in great difficulty, trailing the Saskatchewan Roughriders 41-10 at the half. Meet my dad, Jack Wells from Winnipeg, who has been on the Bomber beat since about 1941 and seen a lot of these Labor Day Classics. When you look back on it, Dad, do you remember any in particular?
Well, you know, you have to realize that there was a break in this traditional game between the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Those who made the schedule up, you know, just threw anybody in here. But it was always a traditional game. Even before I went to Winnipeg, like Regina at that time played somebody on Labor Day. We used to drive up from Moose Jaw to see the game. But of late, well, the game between the Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders has become traditional. I guess I spent more Labor Days in Regina than I have anywhere else, John.
Do you look back on any game with particular fondness from a Bomber standpoint?
Well, actually, I think I can be honest about this. I've never really been a booster for any club. I've always enjoyed the game and the sport in general. But I recall a Labor Day game when Indian Jack Jacobs was the quarterback for the Bombers, and I just forget the number of points the Bombers were down. And at that time, he was having a bit of a problem with the coach of the Bombers, George Trapton, and they had a bit of a feud going on. And poor old Mike Zaleski, if you're still up there in Edmonton, Mike, Joe Zaleski, I should say, Joe up there, and he called in the Chiefs late in the game, and I think he had to get 2 touchdowns at least and a field goal. And the Chiefs threw a pass into the end zone. Bud Korchak, who's still in Winnipeg, dropped the pass. He never came back.
For the whole game, Father. We got to go.
Okay, I'm sorry. Well, the Bombers went on to win when Jacobs put the board.
It'll be a long way back for the Bombers today. They trail the Saskatchewan Roughriders 41-10. It is halftime at Taylor Field.
Thanks, Bob. You get paid for all this?
Wake up, Big Canada, wake up. Today is our McCain Day.
What's the secret of McCain's richer tasting juice? More oranges. McCain concentrates the juice of more oranges into every can. More than Minute Maid, more than Old South. So you'll have a special reason to buy McCain.
You bet I do.
It's like an extra squeeze of juice in every glass. So compared to Minute Maid and Old South, you have an extra reason to drink McCain.
You bet I do.
Wake up to McCain.
People and wildlife. We're all part of one big life system. Keeping that system intact is a real balancing act. Right now, our planet is losing 3 species a day. Once a species is gone, it's gone forever. Every time a species is threatened, you are threatened. Protect your life system. Contribute to the World Wildlife Fund, because it's your life, too.
Monday, join Jim Houston and Buck Martinez in an afternoon game from Tiger Stadium as the Jays take on the Tigers. Then it's live CFL action from Ivor Wynne Stadium as the Ottawa Roughriders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
The world's top tennis players rally for tennis's final Grand Slam. It's continuous coverage of the U.S. Open Championships. Live Blue Jays baseball. The Roughriders and the Tiger Cats in U.S. Open tennis. Monday on TSN.
Welcome back to Taylor Field. 41-10. The Roughriders lead the Blue Bombers. It's clear, Leaf. I think that James West is really missed in that Bomber lineup. They haven't been able to stop anybody today.
Well, Peter, I'm not sure if James West would be able to stop the aerial attack that Kent Austin has put together this afternoon, but the Saskatchewan Roughrider offense has been awesome. The defense has come up with the turnovers, and that has spelled awful problems for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this afternoon. They all got it. Roughriders got it started early in the first quarter, and a big play to their fine inside slot back, Jeff Fairholm. 107 yards later, he will take this pass into the end zone. It becomes the longest touchdown pass in Saskatchewan Roughrider history. He got them out ahead 10-3 at this point. After a Richie Hall interception, didn't take Ken Austin long to hit Mark Guy, his wide receiver, with the 25-yard touchdown bomb over Les Brown. At this point, 34-10, and the route was on for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Donald Narcisse had a touchdown earlier, and watch this touchdown catch, folks. They don't get any better than that one. That was his second of the game. At that point, it was 41-10. Ken Austin, he's thrown for over 300 yards in for the 6th time this season so far, and it's only taken him a half to do it. Peter, it is a long, long way back for the Bombers. I don't know if they can do it.
On a hot, hot day, Miss Roughrider doesn't need that heavy coat. Carrie Butler from Moose Jaw is Miss Saskatchewan Roughrider, 41-10. Her team leads.
I know it's late, but we need that part fast.
When you need a courier who works late, like you do, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
It was shipped. I can tell you exactly where it is.
When you need a courier who keeps tabs on things, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
It's time to get back to school, so it's time to get back to National Sports Center for all your back-to-school needs. From August 26th to September 9th, save up to 80% on everything for the new school year. Top brand names, the latest fashion, savings on footwear, hockey, baseball, water skis, rackets, camping gear, and more. Check the paper for details on the back-to-school sale, August 26th to September 9th. At National Sports Center, your fun starts with us, guaranteed.
Every year they hit the books and study hard. CIAU football on TSN. TSN has a class of 9 battling their way throughout the year for a bid at the National Championship. TSN has a full season of college ball, including playoff finals, and all the excitement that is the Vanier Cup. It's CIAU football as the Waterloo Warriors take on the Concordia Singers Saturday, 1 Eastern, and here on TSN. Our game of the week on TSN, the Blue Bombers in big trouble against the Saskatchewan Roughriders after the opening half, 41-10. Bombers on the return. Steve Zatilny and the Roughriders. John Hoffman makes the tackle on Zatilny.
Here are the statistics from the first half. 346 total yards for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. The turnover is really a big part of the story. Turnovers have been a big part of the story in virtually every game we do this year. 4 for the Bombers, absolutely critical in the first 30 minutes.
First and 10, Bombers to get the second half underway. They begin at the Winnipeg 34. Long way back for Danny McManus and company. Looking long for Rick House. He makes the catch, and they rule it complete. Right on the line at the Saskatchewan 41.
Well, you can't have any better coverage than Richie Hall had right there, because he stayed on the inside hip of Rick House, but a super throw by Danny McManus. And watch Rick House at the end here as he goes back up and over the top of Richie Hall. Now, House is 5'10", Richie's only 5'6", and that 4 inches meant the difference as Rick House came up with his 4th catch of the afternoon. And really, you know, they're getting smoked this afternoon, but he's had a great year.
From the 41. Charges on McManus. Alapate coming through. Sack McManus.
Well, the blitz is on by the Rider defense, and Tune Alapati, number 91. Warren Hudson says, "Ole," as he goes by, and Danny McManus pays the price as he takes the hit, and the ball well short. Alapati, 6th start in the middle from the University of Washington in his 2nd year. Make that Washington State. 2 years he's been with the Rough Riders. Played 6 games for the Riders last year. 6 games this year so far.
2nd and 10. Charge is on again. McManus got it away. Intended for House. Richie Hall covering.
Now once again 2nd and 10, and this is a tough defense to throw against 2nd and 10. They squeeze down those lanes in the zone coverage, and that time really no place for McManus to thread the ball into Rick House. So once again they have to give it up, and it has been a long afternoon for the offense of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. For the front four of the Saskatchewan Roughriders, they've had a lot of fun.
Tickets for $100 each, only 13,000 tickets are offered. There will be a prize for every 52 tickets sold.
Bob Cameron had one blocked earlier today. Guy and Lee deep for Saskatchewan. Orville Lee in the end zone, and he'll concede the single points. Following this afternoon's game, we'll present the Turning Point, brought to you this afternoon by Firestone. Well, it's now 41-11 for the hometown Roughriders.
How's it going in UP? Mom, Dad?
Saskatchewan first down. Out at the 35. Ken Austin looking for more, throwing deep. Elgard. Nice catch. He slowed down at the last possible second and dragged it in. 29-yard gain.
When you're throwing the long bomb, sometimes the easiest play for the wide receiver to make is to have it underthrown and then adjust back to it. Very difficult for the defensive back, in this case Daryl Sampson, to make the adjustment back to the football, but Elgard does it perfectly. Austin underthrows it just a touch, and watch how he fades and drifts back to the outside. No push there, but didn't get caught for it. Ray Elgard adding to his league-leading total in receptions this year.
1st and 10, Saskatchewan, Winnipeg 46. Austin still with a hot hand. Orville Lee. Stopped by Greg Battle. Not much of a gain.
Well, it's okay to run play action, but really the Saskatchewan Roughriders, although they're well out in front in this ball game, never really established the run this afternoon. So to expect the linebackers to honor the fake, you just won't get it. And Greg Battle, number 34, wasn't fooled at all, and he was up quickly to make the hit on Lee and hold it to only about a 2.5-yard gain.
I think it's 2nd and 8. Flags go down. Time count violation likely against Saskatchewan.
Back of the play.
Time count. Saskatchewan number 5.
It's been about the only thing that's gone wrong for Kent Austin since he began this ball game.
Boy, I'll say he's had a good afternoon. You know, I mentioned in the halftime highlight package, 6th time already in 1990 he's been over 300 yards. Only took him a half to do it this time. And Richie Hall, there he is. A couple of big interceptions for him this afternoon.
Austin from the shotgun on 2nd and 13. Elgard makes the catch, and he's down to 25. Petway making the stop. That's Ken Petway.
Oh, Ray Elgard at 6'3", 225 pounds, is an imposing target as an inside receiver. He works across the field in the zone. Dave Bavell, the middle safety, cannot get up in time to make the play. And boy, he has great soft hands. And for a big guy running downfield to have those kinds of soft hands, you know you're going to have a great career in this league, which he has done. 4 catches today. That gives him 55 on the year. He's number 1 in that department. And of course, he is the all-time leading Rough Rider receiver in the Rough Rider history.
struggled a little bit last season. He was hampered by injuries, and Jeff Fairholm came to the fore as the Roughriders' leading inside receiver most of the way last year. This year it's been a little different. Fairholm has had some injury problems, including a hamstring that kept him out of 3 games earlier this season that he aggravated earlier today, catching a 107-yard touchdown toss.
Well, John, what you like to see in a receiver, I mean, 2 weeks ago against the Edmonton Eskimos in the big win, he had 182 yards in receptions. That was a personal best for him. Last week in Hamilton, he has 199 yards, which becomes now his personal best. So week after week, I mean, he is getting the job done.
From the 25 of the Bombers, first down, Saskatchewan. Good fake by Kent Austin. Boyko makes the catch. He's halfway to a first down. Bruce Boyko. He has filled in for Jeff Fairholm since the second quarter. 5'11", 190.
8 yards on the play. Second and 8. Second and 2.
Look at 6'3", 208. Boyko from Michigan.
Cut him short on those 4 inches. He'll be up here in a hurry to have a chat with you on that.
Fairholm is 5'11", 190.
Taken in the second round of the 1990 draft by the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And, of course, they are a team that has great depth in their Canadians. And let me tell you, folks, you're only as good as your Canadians in this league.
Another Saskatchewan first down. Second and 2, Orville Lee.
Well, you really see the difference. You know, Saskatchewan second and 2 there. And well, you can really call any kind of play you want. You can run it, throw it, but the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this afternoon, always second and long for them. And that, in my opinion, has been a key factor in this game.
Slight delay. Orville Lee. Touchdown. Orville Lee danced into the end zone, and the Roughriders are out in front. 47-11.
Well, he makes a great move at the point of attack to get away from number 35, Tyrone Jones, who's the middle linebacker. And you know, Tyrone Jones is not used to playing in the middle and taking guys on head-on. He makes most of his tackles from the side. Might be a factor, who knows? Nevertheless, Lee gets in with the touchdown, and the Riders just keep pouring it on.
10-yard touchdown by Orville Lee. Convert by Dave Ridgway. The Roughriders continue their walk over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Gillette announces a razor that can sense the individual needs of your face. Introducing the extraordinary Gillette sensor shaving system. Sensor blades are mounted on responsive springs to continuously sense and adjust to your face for the best shave a man can get. Closer, smoother, safer. New Gillette sensor.
Welcome back to Taylor Field in Regina, the Labor Day Classic here this afternoon. Blue Bomber field goal kicker Trevor Kennard in his 11th year out of the University of Alberta. Looks back fondly on some Labor Day games past. We talked to him just prior to the game today.
It seems like every game here on Labor Day is either a one-point victory either way, but a game that really comes to mind is a game in the mid-'80s when the Saskatchewan punter, Ken Clark, it was actually a negative memory for us with the Bombers, but a great one for Ken Clark. David Ridgway had been injured early in the football game, and Ken Clark came on the last play of the game to kick a 41-yard field goal into the wind to beat us. And I felt very, very good for Ken Clark, but I felt very bad for the Winnipeg Football Club.
And a happy Labor Day memory for Trevor Kennard. Likely repeated here today. It does not look at 48-11 like this is going to be a one-point ball game.
I don't think so. But I remember Kenny Clark's kick that day, and Kenny Clark was a remarkable athlete. Actually, he did punt in the Super Bowl for the Los Angeles Rams.
On the return for Winnipeg, this is Steve Zatilny, number 20. He's had trouble with his footing all afternoon and falls down once more at the 25.
The Saskatchewan Roughriders have done a lot of damage in short order in this game. Here they are again with the ball with under 3 minutes. They go 75 yards in 6 plays and cap it with Orville Lee's first touchdown since 1988.
You know, that was really one of the amazing stories last year in the Canadian Football League. Orville Lee, a starting running back with the Eastern Ottawa Riders, did not have a touchdown rushing or catching last year, so he waited 2 years, but I think it tasted pretty sweet for him this afternoon. His 10-yard touchdown on the draw.
Injured Blue Bomber Steve Zatilny.
Are we on? Hey, I'm on. Hi, Dad. Hi, Vancouver. How you doing? Don't worry about Luke. Luke, this is a rookie. He doesn't mean to talk on the camera.
Easy to see which team has the advantage.
Ray Elgard, of course, mentioning that Lucius doesn't need to talk on camera. Steve Zatilny, the injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber. Let's see what happened to him. He just made a... kind of did that to himself and then got bent over backwards by number 89, David Pitcher.
He was trying to get up after not really being tackled on the play. He went down himself, and Pitcher had a right to make sure he was down.
Tough on the Flying Zatilnys this year. Of course, brother Wally with the Hamilton Tiger Cats tore a hamstring muscle a few weeks ago, and who knows when he'll be back. That's a tough one to come back from. And now brother Steve with the Bombers, injured right here.
It's been a long day for the Bombers. Coach Mike Riley has had a great season so far, winning 6 of his first 8 games to lead the Eastern Division of the CFL. Things have not gone well today. The Bombers really have depended on defense to do a lot for them this season, and coming back from a deficit like this, 48-11, is going to be a little bit difficult with the way the offense has played.
Well, the defense has really done a job. You know, they lead the league in 25 interceptions this year and created a lot of opportunities for their offense. Maybe it was the knee in the old noggin that hurt Steve, but he is up, which is always a good sign, and making his way off the field. The faster of the Zatilny brothers.
Saskatchewan backup is Jeff Bentram out of North Dakota State in his 4th year with the Roughriders. He's dressed for all 8 games this year, played in 3. And we might see him before this is over. We will not see James West for 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, he broke the arm in 2 places. They inserted a plate, and he told me this afternoon it'd be 6 to 8 before he'd be back in the lineup.
Here's Robert Mims. Big break for the Bombers as Mims carries all the way to the 50 and across. Best run of the afternoon for the Bombers. Gets them out of a degree of difficulty near the 25.
One of the reasons why Robert Mims, the rookie from Kansas, leads the Canadian Football League is this ability to run with the football. He gets a great block from left guard Bob Molly at the point of attack, and then in the open field makes some moves on his own, getting by Albert Brown. Eddie Lowe finally bringing him down to play, but Robert Mims, one of the bright stars that the Bombers have come up with in 1990.
First and 10 Winnipeg. 53. Mims once more. And not quite as fortunate that time.
Boy, anytime you break a long run against this defense, I mean, you know you have either done a good blocking job up front or the running back has had a great individual effort, because they are the toughest team to run against in the CFL this year.
9:18 to go. 3rd quarter. The Roughriders have been in control since midway through the 1st. Man is off target slightly with James Murphy.
James Murphy slowed up a little bit. Albert Brown, the corner number 4, read it perfectly, and as he was closing in to make the interception, James Murphy turned into a defensive back to knock it down and keep from committing the 5th turnover of the afternoon for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Albert Brown, a speedy cornerback, played wide receiver in University at Western Illinois, and boy, I honestly think any defensive back who had some experience as a receiver is always ahead of the game, because you understand those patterns that they like to run, the combination patterns, and it seems like you always get a little extra edge, and Albert Brown is one of the good ones in our league.
Bob Cameron, the Winnipeg kicker, fakes this one. Wide open is Mims. And Mims is down to the 20. The old Acadia quarterback pulls off the surprise. 32-yard gain. The Bombers get to the 21 of Saskatchewan.
That's funny, John. I was talking to Bob Cameron before the game, and I said, you know, Bob, you're a quarterback, and I haven't seen you throw a punt off a pass or throw a pass off a punt in a long time. And he said, Leaf, I've had a bad shoulder, but don't be surprised if you see it today. And he threw a nice strike to Robert Mims there. There's the form that made him a great quarterback at Acadia University.
So the Bombers hold on to the ball with a first down at the Saskatchewan 21. Danny McManus flags her down. McManus on target at the 15 for James Murphy. Cameron punts and holds for the Bomber place kicker, Trevor Kennard. Here's the call.
Procedure, Winnipeg 57, first down repeated.
A couple for Steve Rhoda Huskers this afternoon. This will be 1st and 15.
He will not be a popular man with that fellow right there. Mike Riley, the head coach of the Bombers, has not had a lot to be excited about this afternoon.
McManus stands in, takes the hit, looks to the end zone. Murphy couldn't make the catch. Albert Brown was covering once more.
Well, the pressure up front from Bobby Juris and the rest of that front four really forced the errant pass. McManus, just as he steps up to deliver the football, there comes Alapati on the blitz. Jurison from the back, and really he couldn't get the mustard on the football that he wanted to. The ball a little short, and Albert Brown able to break it up.
That makes it 2nd and 15. Low that time. Do they call it a catch? No catch. Rodney Hughes tried to fake it a little bit.
Well, these are tough, you know, 2nd and 15 against this secondary who plays a good zone coverage, and they squeeze down the lanes. I mean, there are not a whole lot of places to throw the football in for Danny McManus, and well, you just can't expect to move the football time and time again when you're faced with all these long yardage situations. Mike Riley, he knows that, and I think he's going to have a talk with these quarterbacks and try and get them moving in the direction of taking some short passes on first downs, but they're going to gamble.
3rd and 15. Did he make the catch? No. Murphy tried to come up with it after it was deflected at the 21. There is a flag down. And the sound of the crowd.
Winnipeg 37, penalty is declined.
You could have guessed.
Saskatchewan first down.
That was the call. 6:59 remaining, 3rd quarter. It has been the Roughriders all afternoon at Taylor Field in the Labor Day Classic. Saskatchewan leading 48-11.
Hey guys, just check this out at 2 o'clock. Oh, there we are. There they go. Try to find out.
Oh, well, they're married. They have the ring on their finger. Maybe not.
Oh, that's not it. All right. Send that guy right into the water. What kind of girl? A frisbee player. Nice throw. Like they even see us here. They're cute. I know, they saw us. They're just pretending not to.
I'm a nice guy. Why don't I have a girlfriend that looks like that?
OV, real life beer.
Here's to McCain from the tiny and the small. For McCain Junior Juice is the best taste of all. McCain Junior Juice from Superb Concentrate is just enough juice and deliciously great. So let's have a junior and drink from the box. Uh-oh, time to split. Here comes the fox.
McCain Junior Juice, the just enough size.
Dave Ridgway, 2 for 3 in field goals, 6 converts this afternoon. He is the leading kicker in the Canadian Football League with 137 points coming in today. Here's his Labor Day memory.
Well, other than the one that Trevor talked about when I got knocked out and Tim Clark kicked the game-winning field goal, probably 1987. We had a lot of wind. There was a real big wind out here, and closing down the end of the first half, we came in for a 60-yard field goal. A lot of people talk about it being a great kick, but they don't realize that I could hardly stand up because the wind was blowing into my face. No, not really. It was at my back. Anyways, it went through, so that's probably my memory.
That was the CFL record for field goals. In distance, 60 yards for Ridgway on the Labor Day Classic a few years ago. versus Floyd. Jeff Bentram in at quarterback.
Those are the numbers for him this year. Last year, he was the third quarterback in the scheme of things here. Did not throw a pass all season long, but he gets into the ball game. His fourth year from North Dakota State, as John mentioned earlier. Kent Austin, what an afternoon he had. 18 of 27, 385 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. You know the statistic about him that I like? He used 8 different receivers this afternoon, and boy, when you keep everybody in the ball game, you've done a great job as a quarterback.
James McBoyd, this is 2nd and 1. Milton Jones has a first down. Saskatchewan.
And he was a step away from seeing if he could go the distance. Now, I'm not so sure. Milson packing around 240 pounds on a 6-foot frame these days, and he comes up limping a little bit, but I would have liked to have seen it. That would have been, what, about the 45 here? We're talking about a 65-yard sprint there.
Would have been a long gallop for Milson.
I'm not sure Milson would have been ready for that on this hot afternoon.
Flags are down. The Bombers moved early. Bentram on target. Elgard makes the catch.
Look how he sits down, just in the zone between Daryl Sampson and 76. Quentin Riggins, the rookie linebacker. I mean, you just don't teach that to a receiver overnight. You work on that craft over your career, and Ray Elgard is one of the better ones at man coverage and reading the zones. And there you see the results. 5 catches, 122 yards this afternoon. Now, listen to this for 3 weeks. I know I've said it before, but 2 weeks ago, 182. Last week, 199. And now 122 yards for Elgard. He is on a roll.
Was offside on the play. The penalty was accepted. It's now 2nd down.
But Mike Gray was offside on the previous play. The Roughriders come up just a little short of the first down. So this will be 2nd and less than a yard to go. .5:31 remaining, 3rd quarter. Jeff Bentram is in. Relief of Kent Austin. He just needs a rest. He's been so busy. Chance of a lifetime for Gary Lewis, who really doesn't figure in the offensive scheme very often. He almost caught it twice.
Well, Gary Lewis is 6'3", 270 pound defensive tackle. Of course, he comes in for a little blocking power on short yardage, and boy, the thrill of a lifetime for him would have been to hang on to that football and make the catch. And boy, he would have been able to tell his children, you should have seen the catch I made as a tight end in pro football. And they would have said, Dad, you were a defensive tackle. And he'd have said, nuh-uh, not on short yardage. I was a threat. But it slipped away. I like the call.
Major foul, objectionable conduct, Winnipeg bench, 1st down.
Bench. I guess that includes everybody over there.
Take your pick.
I'm a big fan of this play. Yeah.
It's been a long day for Mike Riley already. It's a long way from over with 4:46 to go, 3rd quarter. First down. Bentram. Good Boyko. Knocked him out. Another Saskatchewan first down.
Bruce Boyko does a nice job making that catch. But you know, Jeff Bentram, I mean, he's got some great credentials coming out of North Dakota State. You know, in his 4-year career there, 3 times he led the North Dakota State Bisons to NCAA championships for Division II schools. I mean, that's some kind of record. And he won the Malton Hill Trophy in '86, which is the equivalent to the Heisman for Division I schools. So, I mean, he has got some great credentials behind him.
25-yard gain. Lucius Floyd. Touchdown. So Bentram flagged for a touchdown.
great catch by Lucius Floyd. He's made some good catches this afternoon. Bencham reads the coverage perfectly, gets the running back on the circle pattern into the seam, and how about that? Yeah, you gotta like that kind of athletic ability. Lucius Floyd. Bencham, his first touchdown pass of the year.
Points for style on the backfoot, too. Did you see how he landed both feet together?
Who did that last night in the Toronto game? Who was it?
Ed Berry.
Ed Berry?
Interception.
Yeah. I like this. I mean, to me, it's colorful. Jeff Bencham, his first touchdown pass of the year, and a pretty nice drive he put together. Good pass to Boyko on the sidelines, and then Lucius Floyd with his second touchdown catch of the year. And folks, let's not forget Timmy McRae. I mean, he's been an all-star running back in this league, and Lucius Floyd is replacing him. So when Timmy McRae is healthy, which is about a week or two away, Ron Gregory is going to have one of the more pleasant decisions that coaches like to talk about.
Well, Bencham is added to the Rough Rider total. There are Jurison fans here. That's Bobby Jurison, of course. And he wears that distinctive headgear. He sells them around town, too.
See what's in store in September on TSN. Tackle the wildlife in the NFL. We've got a full season of Bears, Lions, Eagles, and Cowboys. And if baseball piques your interest, how about the pennant race to top off a hit season? We've got tennis at the U.S. Open and Canadians in Davis Cup action. There's plenty of horsepower with Winston Cup racing and more at the Maryland Million. And see what's happening in the CFL. We've got sports galore in September on TSN.
Lucius Floyd, the rookie from the University of Nevada at Reno, comes up with his second touchdown reception of the year, and it's a nice one over the middle. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders, who have had everything their own way this afternoon, including the gymnastics routine, I give them about an 8.5 for that one. They have amassed 103 yards of total offense.
Pearson, the return for Winnipeg, number 32. And not much there. He stopped at the 25. The Bombers have a long way to go to hit that Saskatchewan end zone. They trail by 44.
The CFL's best defense really taking a beating today. 75 yards. The Riders go that far in 4 plays in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And the league's best gymnast, Lucius Floyd, makes it look easy on a 23-yard pass and run play from Jeff Bencham.
Oh, now Peter, he's going to be in trouble calling Lucius Floyd the best gymnast. I mean, the Gizmo and Edmonton's going to be on the phone in a hurry. Ed Berry in Toronto.
Dan McManus on target for Lee Hull, number 71. That's a first down for Winnipeg out to the 45. 3:47 left, third quarter. 55-11. We thought it would be a lot closer than this.
Well, we did think it would be a lot closer than this. Winnipeg leading the East. Milson Jones knew it all along. He said all well, and I agree with him. Thought he told a good story on the last segment before the ball.
Pre-game show? Yeah, it was good. First down, Blue Bombers. This is Danny McManus. Charged from behind. McManus unloads. Murphy can't make the catch. He's in front of Larry Hogue. Had a shot at it.
Now Murphy almost got into the open hole, initially throwing the long bomb downfield. Now he cuts underneath Larry Hogue, who's got the deep third coverage on the outside. He almost came up with a great catch there, but it's been a tough day for not only the Winnipeg receivers, but the Winnipeg quarterbacks. It just seems as though they're ready to throw. There's always a Saskatchewan defensive lineman in their face, and the numbers indicate that for Danny McManus. It hasn't been a nice afternoon.
Looks deep again. Murphy, the intended receiver, once more. Hogue was covering. And the Bombers kick it away again.
Well, they have struggled. Only 201 yards of offense and almost 3/4 of play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this afternoon. It has not been fun.
2:50 to go, third quarter. Cameron Usually considered the top punter in the league. Had one blocked earlier today. That was only one of the Blue Bombers' early problems. Marvel Lee on the return. And that much for Lee that time. He has been terrific since coming over from Ottawa on special teams returns. But that time, the Bombers had him well covered.
Well, what the Roughriders have been able to do is assemble some great backup strength on their club. Orville Lee, of course, a backup running back now. And the young fellows, Bruce Boyko and David Pitcher, the inside receivers, getting a chance to play this afternoon with Jeff Fairholm's hamstring acting up again. So this only adds to your depth for down the road to give these guys some playing time.
This is Lucius Floyd. He breaks another one for a first down. Penway, the tackle. A flag comes down after that. Spot anything down there, Lee?
Couldn't, John. Couldn't see what it was. But I'm sure Bud Steen's going to let us know in a hurry.
Major foul. Unnecessary roughness. Saskatchewan, number 9, punching in the head after the first down gain. It's now first down, 15 back.
Boy, those tough wide receivers. Mark Guy, 5'9", 170. Tennessee at Martin.
Well, see, he's got 4.4 speed. He's one of the faster guys out there, so he can do that. He can punch a guy in the head because he can run away and get away from it.
Right.
That's it.
Benson over the middle for Lucius Floyd. Another Saskatchewan first down out across the 35 to the 37.
That's a good read by Jeff Bentrim. Winnipeg back in his own coverage on 2nd and 10, and what you have to do so many times is throw underneath that coverage, and although he takes the hit on the good pressure up front for Quincy Williams, Jeff Bentrim hangs in long enough to complete that pass to Lucius Floyd and pick up the first down. I mean, he's directing the offense just like Ken Austin did. He don't skip a beat with having Nathan come in today.
And he wants to put some numbers up on the board, Lee. He gets a chance to play the backup. Floyd again. Close to another first down. He's about a yard short.
He got a great block from the right tackle, Vic Stevenson, who pulls and comes all the way around the left side. And so when he got there, he met up with the middle linebacker, Tyrone Jones, put a good hit on him. And give Floyd credit. You know, he waited just long enough and stayed on the hip of Stevenson to allow him to make the block and then do the cut. So you talk about hitting on all cylinders. The Roughriders running and throwing as well as they have done all year long.
Short yardage team is in. This is 2nd and 2.
Throw it to big Garrett Lewis again.
I like that play.
I did.
Lewis would make the catch this time, wouldn't he?
I don't think he'd miss that one again.
Orville Lee to the outside. First down and yards to spare. Forced out by Rod Hill, number 10. So the Roughrider roll continues. 15 yards for Orville.
Kerry Butler, who is a native of Regina, native city actually of Moose Jaw, and is the Miss Saskatchewan Roughrider. You're going to Vancouver the way your team's playing. They might be there too.
Yes, that would really be great. I'm looking forward to it, and today sure does look like they may be going there too.
That was a lovely fur coat you won, but you won't need it today.
No, definitely not. Even the sweatshirt's plenty.
Congratulations. Have a great year, and good luck in Vancouver.
Thank you very much.
That's why I feel sorry for Peter Watt. He gets all the tough jobs, doesn't he?
Well, he got a little tongue-tied down there.
Well, she's a very pretty girl. I mean, it's understandable Peter to get a little tongue-tied on that one.
Mark Guy almost had the touchdown from Jeff Bentrim. Oh, so close, rolling off his fingertips. Nice toss.
It shows you Jeff Bentrim's got a pretty strong arm. I mean, he falls on the 47-yard line, and he let that go from outside the 50 and went into the end zone. It was right on target.
2nd and 10. This should be the final play, third quarter. Elgard had it go through his fingers, and the Bombers pick it off. Darrell Sampson has the interception. Not really Jeff Bentrim's fault. He's smiling about it. It'll go as an interception. It's a hot afternoon here. But the Roughriders are hotter than the elements. 55-11. They lead the Blue Bombers from Winnipeg. Tuesday, host John Wells reviews the week's Blue Jays highlights and all the news from on and off the field on the baseball show. Then stay tuned for live Blue Jays baseball as they take on the Tigers in the second of a 3-game series from Tiger Stadium. Later, who will win tennis's final Grand Slam event? It's continuous action of the U.S. Open from Flushing Meadow, New York. The baseball show, the Jays and the Tigers in U.S. Open tennis, Tuesday on TSN.
If Toronto is awarded the 96 Olympics, we'll get a lot of affordable housing fast. Go for it.
If Toronto was awarded the 96 Olympics, we'll get to know our neighbors a whole lot better.
Go for it.
Toronto 96.
Monday, join Jim Houston and Buck Martinez in an afternoon game from Tiger Stadium as the Jays take on the Tigers. Then it's live CFL action from Ivor Wynne Stadium as the Ottawa Roughriders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. The world's top tennis players rally for tennis's final Grand Slam. It's continuous coverage of the U.S. Open Championships. Live Blue Jays baseball, the Roughriders and the Tiger Cats in U.S. Open tennis. Monday on TSN.
Welcome back. Fourth quarter about to get underway on the TSN Game of the Week. Saskatchewan Roughriders have put Tom Burgess back at quarterback, and Burgess connects with Rodney Hughes short of the first down.
After 3 quarters, that's the story in numbers. All Saskatchewan, 5-1 in the turnovers against the Blue Bombers, and the league's best defense has had a tough day.
No losses for Saskatchewan out there. All positive. This is Robert Mims, knocked down by Eddie Lowe. Big first down for the Bombers. Tom Burgess has not had the kind of return to Taylor Field he had dreamt about last night. Shared the duties last season. Kent Austin actually came out and won a couple of games late for the Roughriders, but didn't get to play in the Grey Cup game. Austin started that and won it for Saskatchewan.
Richie Hall, the injured Saskatchewan Roughrider, has a couple of interceptions this afternoon, leading directly to a couple of Saskatchewan Roughrider touchdowns back in the first half. Tommy Burgess had a funny year last year with the Riders. He did not start the season. Ken Austin started the first game of the regular season. Tom Burgess came in and took over for him and then started 9 games in a row for the Riders. And of those 9 games, he threw 22 touchdown passes, and then he fell into a bit of a slump, and Austin took over and took it right through to their Grey Cup victory. Although in the Western Final against Edmonton, I do recall Tom Burgess coming in and having a great second half and leading them to victory, although he didn't get to start the Grey Cup game, and Austin went on to be the MVP in that game. So, justice at times in this game, but there you see his numbers from this afternoon. He got hit and coughed up the football early, and Saskatchewan took it in for a touchdown, and I think that was the beginning of all his problems this afternoon.
And in relief, Danny McManus threw a couple of interceptions, so the Bomber quarterbacks have struggled at Taylor Field so far this afternoon. Fourth quarter, still with 14-12 to play. We'll be right back.
When you need a courier with connections to the EMS worldwide network, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
I know it's Saturday. We had a small fire, and I need to do it this Monday.
When you need a courier who's always there, who are you going to call? You've got your priorities straight.
Richie Hall of the Saskatchewan Roughriders still in a great deal of pain on the football field. Is he cramped up, Lee, for what can you...
No, I think it's the right ankle that Ivan Gottfried is working on. And Well, you know, it's hard to tell. Maybe when they push that, oh gosh, you know what, John? I think you are right. When they push that foot back,
I wouldn't think it would be broken if they're tackling it like that.
He's got the cramp in the calf muscle, and boy, if you've ever had that, you know, anytime you just twitch or move the wrong way, and it pops out again. It is a very uncomfortable feeling, but I can tell you that it's an extremely hot afternoon here in Regina. Over 31 degrees Celsius, translating into about 87 degrees Fahrenheit, so it will take its toll here in the fourth quarter. Jeff Fairholm caught a big 170-yard touchdown pass in the first quarter, the longest in Rider history. He aggravated a hamstring injury that had kept him out earlier in the season, so he is on the bench. We'll not see any more action this afternoon.
A moment to talk about our future plans here on TSN. Tony Champion expected to play on Monday evening at Iberwin Stadium in Hamilton. His first game back since coming back from the National Football League. He was in the Green Bay Packers camp. Champion and the Ticats play host to the Ottawa Roughriders live from Iberwin at 7:30 Eastern Time on Monday. Local blackouts in effect for that game. And every team in the league plays 3 games in 10 or 12 days, and our team's no exception. On Thursday, we'll be at the stadium at BC Place in Vancouver to watch a rematch of the Argonauts and the BC Lions, 68-43 on Saturday evening at the Skydome in Toronto. So the Lions will be snarling.
Yes, 111 points in that one last night, and that set a new CFL single-game scoring record.
I would suspect the Lions would be in a pretty nasty mood when the Argonauts go out to visit them next Thursday night at BC Place.
Richie Hall will get a ride off the field. Got a big day for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. 2 interceptions in one afternoon. And that, considering he had 1 coming into the game, he's had a terrific day. Roughrider fans don't care how long it takes to score here. They're happy about it. Interception end zone. That's Hoffman's second interception in as many games.
Yeah, you know, it's unbelievable. John Hoffman, who's a backup defensive back for the Riders, Glenn Suter, or was it Richie Hall last week, got hurt. Hoffman comes in for 1 play. They picked on him right off the bat. He gets an interception. Now, second week in a row, he comes in for his first play. They go right after him again, and what does he do? He comes up with the interception once again. John Hoffman, 2 on the year now.
He saved the ball last week, too. Can't have a collection before it's over. Turnovers costly to the Blue Bombers early. That was number 6. Jeff Bunkram in at quarterback for Saskatchewan again. Lucius Floyd had a chance. Tipped actually by Tyrone Jones. 55-11, the Roughriders. En route to their 3rd straight win this afternoon. There's lots of time left, but the Bombers have not been able to get anything going, and 44 points is a little much to ask.
Veteran with some good speed to get to the outside. Mike Gray was breathing down his neck, but he had the speed to get away from him initially and dropped a nice pass into Lucius Floyd. Looked like he might be able to make the catch, but maybe Ty Jones tipped it just at the end.
Flags down on 2nd and 10. Elgard makes another catch out of the 40. He'll have a first down. The penalty is not against Saskatchewan. I think he guessed it, as Elgard did. He'll take that one back.
Boy, the way Elgard's been playing the last few weeks, he must just be the first one in the next day to watch the film session.
81 Saskatchewan.
Oh, penalty on Ray Elgard.
But he has really been on a roll, as the entire team has, but his numbers over the last few weeks have been very impressive. Well, there you see they well over their usual production per game, over 100 yards. Orville Lee on the draw.
The Roughriders come up short. Second and a bunch, so they'll kick it away. Mike Lasecki comes in. He has not been all that busy as a punter this afternoon. His third kick only. There's a rookie out of the University of Saskatchewan. Big guy at 6'3", 200. Lee Hall has trouble handling the ball. Wes Brown over to pick it up. And the problems continue for the Bombers, although they do maintain possession. With 12:06 to go in the fourth quarter at Taylor Field, the hometown Roughriders continue with a big advantage in visiting Blue Bombers.
Hi, I'm Bob McCowan. This week on Canadian Golf Today, we'll have highlights from the Atlantic Classic. Also, we'll take a look at highlights from the Canadian Junior Championships in Saskatchewan. Lauren Rubenstein will be here, tips and more, all this week on Canadian Golf Today.
Ever since we've been a team, we've always agreed. Winners don't drink and drive.
All the action is at home when Blue Jays baseball steps to the plate on TSN. It's holiday fun from the ballpark. Toronto continues its stretch drive with a visit to Detroit. The Jays and the Tigers, Monday, 1:30 Eastern, right here on TSN.
It's a fact. There have been 9 overtime games in CFL history. Saskatchewan involved in the first one almost 4 years ago to the day. Winnipeg's been involved in 4 of the last 5, including last Tuesday's win over Calgary. There will not be overtime today.
Well, that is almost a guarantee, despite the fact that 12:06 to play in the fourth quarter. Richie Hall.
Massive cramp.
There's the diagnosis.
Massive cramp.
You hear him say my sugar's low.
First down, Blue Bombers. Burgess on the quarterback draw. Got something going. He's out to the 54.
He looked like a fullback coming through there. He's straight up the field and no intent on making a move either way. He's just going to put that head down. And boy, you've had an afternoon like this. I mean, you'd like to try and run over somebody if you can. And why don't you get that head down there and take on the big guys?
First down. Almost picked off. Hoffman almost had his second interception. James Murphy was the intended receiver. Burgess off target.
Burgess has to throw that more to the outside and not let James Murphy drift so far inside into the coverage. It's a hole out there that can't bring them back into the coverage on that throw.
Second and 10. Rodney Hughes, the intended receiver. No catch. The long afternoon continues for the Blue Bombers. 3rd and 10 now. 44 points players for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. And it's been a long time. The Blue Bombers have been beaten this badly. Looking back to last year when they had a 7-game losing streak closing out the season. Good kick by Cameron. Orville Lee on the third and nowhere to go for Orville that time. Ty Jones leading the Blue Bomber tacklers that time. Any questions or comments, drop us a line. Carefully Pedersen, the Sports Network, 1155 Leslie Street, Don Mills, Ontario.
Only if they're good comments.
Okay, then any kind of questions, thanks, comments. And we'll try and answer them for you on the CFL Report prior to each CFL game on TSN.
I almost saw a grin on Gregory's face. Did you see that? A little bit.
You might think he's got this one locked up. almost picked off. Narcisse, the intended receiver. Sampson had a shot at it. When you look at the Blue Bombers, arguably the best defense in the league coming into this game, is it a fact that they are missing James West horribly this afternoon?
Well, I think there has been right from the start a lack of intensity on the defense, and James West always is somebody that gets them excited on the field. I mean, I think it is a factor, but I think the turnovers have been the really deciding factor in this game.
Elgard had it and couldn't hang on. It's a complete pass and a fumble as the Bombers take advantage of a turnover. Coverage by Sampson. Petway picked it up after Elgard dropped it. Is that a catch lead?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference when it's 55 to 11. We're talking strictly statistics now, but you see Ray Elgard over the middle. Now remember, this is slow motion, so when he grabs onto the football, yeah, I think he's caught it, and then he pops it loose. Defensive back Daryl Thompson definitely was trying to knock it out loose, so I think that's a good call. Ken Petway gets the recovery.
9:47 remaining fourth quarter. The Bombers get a chance here inside the Saskatchewan 35. Tom Burgess. Rick House couldn't hang on. John Hoffman covering. Made an impact, John Hoffman.
I think he's done a nice job since he's come into the football game. He's in his second year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, backing up Glenn Suter in the middle as he has done for most of the year. Fifth-round draft pick back in 1988 from the University of Saskatchewan, so he didn't have to go a long way from when he graduated Saskatoon down to Regina.
Second and 10. Murphy wide open. That's a Bomber first down. 12 yards inside the Saskatchewan 25.
Tough day for my old buddy James Murphy. There you see his numbers. He would have liked them to be a lot more than that this afternoon, but with those 3 catches, he's only 10 away from becoming the 6th receiver all-time in Canadian Football League history. He will pass Brian Kelly, former Edmonton Eskimo.
From the 21, first down. Robert Mims. He's halfway to another first down as he gets inside the 15. Had Mims covered there after a 5-yard gain. Could be a long ride back for the Bomber supporters today.
You got to have a lot of courage to dress up like that and go to a game when it's this hot.
Nice hat, though. Picked out Richie Hall. Third interception for Hall, and he just goes down at the 5.
Well, he can't run anymore. Richie be going right back for the ice bags. Get him on the calves. Watch how they squeeze down the lane in the zone. It looks as though initially it's open for Rick House, but Richie Hall from the outside safety spot closes back down on that hook zone. And well, you watch. Initially there's an opening, but Hall squeezes it out. 3 interceptions for the Pint.
He'll put some ice on, go back and look for number 4. This time, 8:28 to play, fourth quarter.
And he gives us his old Walter Brennan of the real McCoy's impression as he comes off the field.
7th turnover by the Bombers. It's been that kind of a day. Overlay. Flashes for 4 yards.
My biggest criticism about Orville Lee when he was playing with Ottawa is he had great speed getting to the hole, but then used to dance a lot once he was there and kind of indecisive about running with the ball at times. It seems as though he's moved to Regina. He's running a lot harder as he hits that hole.
A pretty nice dance for the touchdown today.
Oh, yeah. No, that was a nice run to get in there on that drop play, but boy, he looks like he has got renewed enthusiasm out west.
For the 6 Roughriders deep in their own zone. And they're out of there with a first down. Bruce Boyko makes another catch.
How about Bencham now? He gives it the overhand throw. He gives it the sidearm shot now. Rich House got 3.
you. Hi, Mrs. Hugh. Hi, Hop. Hi, everybody. Oh, it feels so good.
Well, 55 points can feel pretty good.
Doesn't feel good for Tom Burgess right there. He was making the debut back with the team against the team he used to play for, and things reflect on his way. Real gentleman, Tom Burgess. He will be back. His team will still remain in first place in the East. That is the good news today.
Roughing the passer called against Winnipeg, so the first down stands for Saskatchewan to get extra yards. And Benton fires for Orville Lee. Comes out to the 45, almost got away. Darrell Sampson held on, however.
Good call at first down. You got to love to play action in this league with the wide field. Of course, 65 yards wide, and play action and dump it off to the back puts a ton of pressure on the linebackers of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Well, they just can't get out quickly enough to cover that. You pick up 7 yards on first down. Now you're in a great spot.
On second down, Benton for Lucius Floyd. He has the first. Out across the 50 and near midfield at the 53. 72, Albert Williams covering on Floyd that time.
It's an easy game when you get good production on first down. I don't care what league it is. You get more than 5 yards on first down and things become a lot easier for you on offense.
Roughriders begin this drive back at the 5. They near midfield now. At 53, and this is Lucius Floyd. Having more Saskatchewan yardage. He is inside the Winnipeg 45. A 13-yard gain.
John, I think at this point we've got to give a lot of credit to the Saskatchewan offensive line today. They blocked well for the run right there, but we both quarterbacks plenty of time to throw. The tackles, Ken Moore and Vic Stevenson, guards Roger Aldag and Bob Foley, 15 and 13 years in the league respectively, and the center Mike Anderson has been around for 7 years. A veteran group up front that has done an outstanding job today.
No sacks allowed today. 5:16 to play, fourth quarter, 55-11. Saskatchewan been in control since midway through the opening quarter. John Gregory coming into the game with a career coaching record of 29-32-1. Have one more to go. Jeff Benton for Don Narcisse, picked off by Rod Hill. Hill wrestled down in the end zone. David Pitcher.
Rod Hill comes up with his third or fourth interception of the season. Had a couple of them last year when he led the league in that department with an all-Canadian, but really a little bit too late for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Rod Hill had good coverage on Donald Narcisse. You folks in the United States will remember him as the first-round draft choice back in 1982 of the Dallas Cowboys. He has enjoyed a tremendous career up here in Canada with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
The fourth turnover by the Saskatchewan Roughriders, but none of it quite as costly as the one the Blue Bombers have taught Saskatchewan.
Here's to McCain from the tiny and the small. For McCain Junior Juice is the best taste of all. McCain Junior Juice has superb concentrate. It's just enough juice and deliciously great. So let's have a Junior and drink from the box. Uh-oh, time to split. Here comes the fox.
McCain Junior Juice. The just enough size.
Longtime fans of the Calgary Stampeders will remember the name Paul Rowe. He came north from Seattle to work in the oil patch and play for the semi-pro Calgary Bronx in the years before World War II. After the war, he joined the Calgary Stampeders. He played on the first Grey Cup team from that city in 1948. In 1964, he was elected to the CFL Hall of Fame. Paul Rowe died of cancer last Monday in Calgary. He was 73.
Jammed Taylor Field in Regina this afternoon for what was expected to be a terrific football match. Two teams coming in on two-game winning streaks. Saskatchewan Roughriders have lived up to the billing. The Blue Bombers have not. They trail 55-11. Rick House makes the catch from the toss from Tom Burgess, but it's going to be much too little, too late in this ball game. 4:24 to play, fourth quarter. Bombers first down at the 45. Lee Howell makes the catch that time, and it's another Winnipeg first down. It's a little easier this late in the game when the other side has a 44-point advantage.
And they're giving you quite a bit of room, and they got some different guys in the secondary playing there. But
you know, for those guys, they'd like to see another couple of touchdowns for the green and white before this was over.
They'd like to stay here all day. They don't want to go home.
James Murphy. And he'll be close to a first down, forced out by Albert Brown.
Well, the matchup we talked about today, James Murphy and Albert Brown, never really materialized. James Murphy with, I believe, his 5th catch of the afternoon for not a great deal of yardage. And Albert Brown talked about the fact that he wanted to make sure he didn't give up the big one to James Murphy. And, boy, he has done his job well. Murphy with only about 50 yards in receptions.
Burgess on first down over the middle, complete to Rick. Down at the 25.
Counter and Hoffman up to make the tackle early. Rick House has had a pretty good afternoon. Just settled down in an open area, waits for Tommy Burgess to deliver the football, and he does so nicely and makes a good catch.
From the 24, Burgess slips, then looks to the end zone, and Murphy was the intended receiver. Double coverage that time. Rastovich had dropped back, and so had Larry Ho. 3 minutes left in a long football afternoon for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, coached by Mike Riley. It's not a perfect day for John Gregory at the opposite side.
You know, so many people have been coming to see the new Suzuki Swift that we had to move into this somewhat larger showroom. People just love the way Swift saves gas. And when they test drive the 16-valve Swift GT, they gain respect. And you would not believe how many people come to see our family-size Swift sedan. And then when we tell them Suzuki's price, oh, here they go again. Man, people really like these Suzukis.
You know, the Blue Jays beat Cleveland today on the no-hitter by Dave Steve, so we'll all watch with interest to see what the Yankees can do at Fenway Park Sunday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Sunday Night Baseball on the Sports Network.
Boy, you have to be. Let's talk baseball just for a second. I mean, you have to be happy for Dave Steve, don't you?
Well, at last, you know, he's been so close so many times, and it has been a tough ride for Steve. He has lost no-hitters in late ball games in the past. Finally gets one today. 18th win of the season, so he still gets a shot at his 21 years.
Yeah, I'd love to see him do that. You know, you look at the Blue Jays this year, and of course they've been a frustrating team to watch. And you know, you always get the feeling that there are some guys that are not quite all there every day, but Dave Steve, game after game, gives you 100% effort. Although I don't think Orville Lee has a chance in that capacity here. He has. The fans have taken a tremendous liking to him in a short period of time.
I don't think the election is called in Saskatchewan for a while either. Manitoba and Ontario have elections next week. Warren Hudson struggles for a first down. 2:44 to go. Fourth quarter at Taylor Field. The classic of Labor Day hasn't been quite that today, Lee.
Well, a game with great build-up and great anticipation between these two clubs. Saskatchewan took control early, and they have never looked back.
First down, Winnipeg at the Saskatchewan 12. Robert Mims makes the catch. He's forced out about the 6. So it's been a long Bomber drive, but the Roughriders have laid off just a little bit here. allowing Winnipeg to use up some of the clock.
Well, I don't think Saskatchewan could care one bit whether the score's 55-11 or 55-18. So they just want to get this thing over with 2:21 to go and get the celebration started.
Saskatchewan will go one game above 500 to 5-4 with a victory today. Jump ball in the end zone. Lee Hall can't come down with it.
Third down on the 6.
Still 2:15 to go. 55-11. Saskatchewan leading the Blue Bombers. Third and 6. Third down gamble recovered by Saskatchewan. Jurison is there and Chuck Klingbeil. Jurison has the football.
Yeah, Tommy Burgess just stepped away from the center too quickly, and Bobby Jurison.
Really no contest in a dive ball between Jurison
oh, he's a little bigger
Burgess.
and a little stronger.
Yeah.
Bobby Jurison, a huge favorite in the province of Saskatchewan. Well, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have established a new club record this afternoon with 514 yards passing in the game, and a combination of Benjamin and Austin come up with that record this afternoon. Mostly Austin, but Benjamin's done a nice job here in the fourth quarter.
He really has. He engineered one touchdown march and has moved the Roughriders fairly successfully. Been a long day for that guy. Roughriders also setting an attendance record here at Taylor Field this afternoon. 31,121. Tipped at the line.
Well, they've got a big party planned after the ball game for the players at the Long Branch Saloon, of course, which their right guard, number 57, Bob Foley, is part proprietor.
Part proprietor. I like that.
Yeah. So I know they're going to have a good time there. It's too bad we got to catch a flight out of here, or we could be the guest of honor maybe at the old Long Branch for an hour or two.
Tomorrow we'll be in Hamilton.
Yeah, that's
30 Eastern for the Roughriders and the Tiger Cats. That's the Ottawa Roughriders.
Must be confusing for our viewers on Sports Channel America tuning in, and like, what are these guys talking about? Saskatchewan Roughriders, the Ottawa Roughriders. Now, you got 8 teams in this league. Can they not, some of them not pick a different name? Now, what have you and I said they should play for it one year?
I think if they ever get to a Grey Cup, I think it'd be terrific to play for the name.
I like that.
If they both made it to the Grey Cup, they both have good teams. You play for the game, play for the name. Another flag goes down. Michael Allen charged with blocking from behind on the kick return by Lee Hull.
Illegal block, 33 Winnipeg on the rundown.
Well, Michael Allen doesn't fool around when he has an illegal block. He absolutely clean blocked Glenn Suter, and I guess one way to look at it, you're going to take a penalty, make it worthwhile.
Talking about the Roughriders versus the Roughriders in the Canadian Football League. I saw Martin Short on the Carson show trying to explain Carson exactly why this league had 2 teams with the same name. How did he do it? Well, he didn't do a terrific job. He just explained that, Johnny, that's the way Canadian Football League is. There's 2 teams with the same last name, spelled slightly differently.
Johnny must have had that pencil really working overtime when Martin was explaining that one.
Minute 13 to go. Burgess has a man wide open. A catch made by Rodney Hughes down at the 25.
So the Bombers picking up a lot of yardage here in the fourth quarter when the game has been out of reach. And it will look good on the statistical side of things for them, but what won't change is the fact that they got smoked this afternoon by the Riders.
I think smoked is A polite way of saying it. Sims was the intended receiver on that time. Tom Burgess. Into the final minute now.
Let's talk about tomorrow night. We've got Ottawa off the big win against the BC Lions last week. Hamilton trying to regroup. They won 3 in a row and lost last week to Saskatchewan, so they'd like to get back on winning track. Of course, Ottawa, they're thinking we win this game, we get back in a bit of a playoff race here.
See what happened to Gregory on the sidelines. They just dunked him with a bucket of ice water.
Now, they got to do something original. I mean, the New York Giants made that famous. Lawrence Taylor, the guys giving Bill Parcells the dunk, but you got to come up with something original. It looks good, but...
Time count violation. Winnipeg, number 13, now third down.
Drop the bench on.
On the far side, Mike Riley is...
And he probably wishes they dump it on him. He's been standing in the sun over there. Gregory's in the shade.
3rd and 10. Really not much of a chance to push him there. Cripple was the intended receiver. Tough day, tough afternoon for a former Saskatchewan Roughrider, Tom Burgess. The number wasn't very lucky today. Well, the Labor Day party is a success at Taylor Field. 9 turnovers by the Bombers. The early ones were terrifically costly. Slides down, and they whistle him down at that point, trying to save the quarterbacks wherever possible in the Canadian Football League. 42 seconds to go.
Minus 2 yards on the play to be second and 12 at the 24. That's a nice half our using Blue Bombers here.
Second down from the 24, second and 12. 24 seconds to go. Bedford spins it over the middle. Boyd made the catch short of the first down. Saskatchewan Roughriders 4 games against Eastern Division opponents coming up in the next few weeks. Get the Ottawa Roughriders next. Mike Lozecki has had a relatively easy afternoon as Roughrider punter. And this kick will be the last play of a long football afternoon for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Barring a penalty, of course. And Pierce to the 50. And the Roughriders get a standing ovation. Win number 5. And that is the 3rd win in a row for Saskatchewan. Tough day for Mike Riley, Lee.
Yeah, it really was. Nothing seemed to go right from the start of the game for John Gregory, who got the Gatorade shower, and he went right for his ball club. They were very well prepared for this game. Hamilton had a super day. In fact, they established a club record in passing one afternoon, so things look pretty rosy for John Gregory. For the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, hey, look, the good news is they still are in first place in the East, and they regroup and get ready for next week and take it from there. These kind of games, 55-11, you just take the film, deposit it in the garbage can, and then move on to the next game.
6th star of the game was the quarterback who started for the Roughriders. He had another terrific day. That's 3 in a row.
A couple of guys on defense had some pretty good afternoons, too.
All right, Peter.
It was the Bomber defense, all the accolades. It was the Roughriders. Roughrider defense that did the playing when the final kick was, or first kick went off. None better than Richie Hall, number 7, with not 1, not 2, but 3 interceptions on the day. And he's a worthy candidate for our Molson MVP Game Star. Great performance by the Roughriders on both sides of the ball. The final, 55-11, Saskatchewan beats Winnipeg. More to come from Taylor Field. They win.
I lost my license drinking and driving. I also lost Kathy.
Ever since we've been a team, we've always agreed. Winners don't drink and drive.
It's ever so tough being ranked number 1 and not being ranked. What assists me is the maximum protection with an automatically airy sense of right guard sport from Gillette. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Before the season starts, get into the 3rd Annual Hockey Show at the Toronto International Centre August 31st, September 3rd. Demonstrations, games, memorabilia. Visit the autograph booth and meet NHL stars. And National Sports Center is going to be there too, with everything you need from novice to pro. The 3rd Annual Hockey Show, August 31st to September 3rd at the Toronto International Centre.
When a French croissant marries an Italian pizza, imagine the passionate combination of texture and taste. McCain Microwave Croissant Pizza. Delicate and tender, yet full of zest and flavor.
Let this texture and this taste that McCain has joined together, let no one put asunder.
McCain Microwave Croissant Pizza. Texture and taste in perfect harmony.
Time for the TSN Turning Point now, brought to you today by Firestone. We could have picked a lot of plays. We picked this one, the first play of the second quarter. Bruce Boyko, number 15, who had a great game in so many ways, comes through to block the punt by Bob Cameron. The Riders get the football at the Winnipeg 33, march in for another touchdown that made it 24-3 Saskatchewan. And from there, it was no contest, 55-11, the final score for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Cash donation to be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Firestone. Firestone, performance you can trust. With a few friends, we're on the field here after the game. Let's go upstairs to John Wells from Lake Bank.
All right, Peter, we'll save you. It's nice and quiet up here. Saskatchewan Roughriders getting some heat for the fact that they weren't able to get the football into the end zone, despite the fact that they'd won recently. They got it there this afternoon, 7 times, 6 different guys accounting for the scoring.
Yeah, you know, like John Gregory said, I don't care if we get a lot of field goals. If we're winning football games and we're moving the ball, the touchdowns will come eventually. And he was very prophetic this afternoon. Ken Austin and Jeff Bedford threw for a whole bunch of touchdown passes, and the Riders look awfully good.
The Roughriders make it 3 wins in a row. They seem to be a team on the move right now. It was a sluggish start, but they look pretty top right at this
I
stage.
think any coach will tell you, you don't want to peak too early in the season. We're just at the 9-game mark. They're on a nice pace.
All right. Roughriders win it big here this afternoon. There was little doubt after the second quarter.
It was a great football game. The Saskatchewan Roughriders full value for the win, 55-11. Our next telecast will be on Monday evening from Iverwin Stadium in Hamilton. We'll have the Ottawa Roughriders and the Hamilton Ticats for you live at 7:30 Eastern Time. The final score from Taylor Field in Regina, the Saskatchewan Roughriders 55 and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 11. And for all of us here at Taylor Field, a glorious day in the sunshine in Saskatchewan. I'm Peter Watts. Thanks for joining us. So long from Regina. Molson CFL Game of the Week on TSN. A presentation of Molson Canadian, what beer's all about. Today's game also brought to you by Priority Courier, the official courier of the CFL.
now and as long as I can remember, there's always been a healthy rivalry between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders. That rivalry always seems to heat up this weekend, the Labor Day weekend. Busloads of Winnipeg fans make the trek to Regina to join the loud field crowd. Former Saskatchewan quarterback Tom Burgess was expected to start for the Bombers against his former teammates, but many Winnipeggers felt that Winnipeg backup Danny McManus deserved a shot after a strong performance Tuesday in that win against Calgary. A huge crowd on hand at Taylor Field today, 31,000. The seating capacity is just 27. Those who couldn't get a ticket were on top of their houses. On to the game now. First one, tied at 3. Ball on the Saskatchewan 3-yard line. Kent Austin drops back. It's Jeff Fairholm, and he is gone. Scampers in down 107 yards. It's 10-3 Riders. Still in the first quarter. Kent Austin again. This time he finds Don Narcisse from 4 yards out. 17-3 Saskatchewan. And the crowd loved it. They were pumped up. And so was the team, especially their defense. Down goes Tom Burgess on the play. Given the sack by Bobby Jurison, still 17-3 Riders at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter now, Riders kept rolling. First, it's Austin to Mark Guy for another major. That made the score 34-10. The fans love it. They were finished there. Again, Kent Austin. He finds Don Narcisse open up the middle. Beautiful catch by Narcisse. Saskatchewan up 41-10 at the half. In the second half, Rough Riders keep it coming. Even backup quarterback Jeff Bentram got into the action. Saskatchewan leading 48-11. Bentram hits Lucius Floyd, 23 yards out. That made it 55-11. And the Saskatchewan Roughriders go on to rout the Bombers. Look at the final score in this one, 55-11 at Taylor Field. And I spoke earlier about great rivalries in the Canadian Football League. Here is another one for you. The Edmonton Eskimos against the Calgary Stampeders. They will meet Labor Day Monday at McMahon Stadium in Calgary, and this one should be a dandy as well. First place in the CFL West Division is on the line. The Stamps are currently number 1 with 5 wins and a tie. The Eskimos second with 5 wins and 3 losses. Now keep in mind, Calgary is coming off that tough overtime loss to Winnipeg last Tuesday. But as our Peter Watts reports from Calgary, the Stampeders are doing their best to put the loss behind them.
It says something about the new attitude in Calgary this season that there was no pointing fingers, no blaming of others, following the loss in Winnipeg last Tuesday night.
It was a tough one to lose, a tough way to lose it, but, you know, I think we showed a lot of poise in coming back the way we did, and, you know, just a couple of plays made the difference, and, you know, there really wasn't any way to point the finger at any particular person.
Well, it's a team effort. You win as a team, you lose as a team, and you don't worry about what happens in the game. Mark might miss a field goal, but that means nothing. The offense didn't score the points when they had to, and the defense didn't stop them. So we'll move on to the next game as a team.
Now comes the big test. 2 games in 5 days against arch-rival Edmonton. Last time these two teams met, the Eskimos won 46-20, and Tracy Ham was unstoppable.
Third Walker, we got to hit. We got to take the play to them and not stand back and let them come at us. We got to get on top of them right away. Edmonton are a good team when they get ahead of you. You know, then they'll just keep pouring it on. If we get ahead of them, I think we might confuse them a little bit. Our offense can do their job and our defense can do their job, and then we have good special teams to go in there and, you know, give the offense good field position. So we just have to come out and be ready to play right from this kickoff.
The guy can kill you throwing it, he can kill you running it, so why not make him do it by and not let him do both.
So far this season, the first quarter has been the worst quarter for the Calgary Stampeders. The team has scored just 32 points while giving up 58. And that record of futility will have to end if the Stampeders are to improve on a record of 1-17 against the Green and Gold. Peter Watts, TSN, in Calgary.